guess. We're up and running. Did you find a video yet for the stream? Oh, really? He knows when we be going live.
Broadcasting live from the EBSN online studios in Columbus, Ohio. It's Silver and Blue Nation, the voice of diehard Dallas Cowboy fans. Now, here are your hosts, Big Game James and Producer G.
What up, what up, what up? It's Silver and Blue Nation.
What's going on today, everybody?
We just out here chilling, you know. Silver and Blue Nation been out for a week. It seemed like a long time for me this week. I don't know why. It just seemed like a very long week.
That's funny you say that because I was just thinking earlier on my way in here how The weeks go by so fast.
Damn. Well, not me. It's been a slow week this week. Maybe because there's just been a lot of things going outside here at work, stuff like that too. Just made it just seem long. So, but I'm glad we back here in the studio. We're gonna be talking some Cowboy news and all kind of stuff. I'm Big Game James, and that's
Producer G.
And we just out here, chilling, talking about Silver and Blue Nation, Cowboys Nation news, and it's a little bit of news going on. Of course, that draft is going on. Them players, the combine, all that's finished, and now they're getting ready for these pro days. And somebody just signed with us and signed his tender.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week in the NFL in general, just all around. All these trades and franchise tags and who's getting it and who's not. And
man, everybody's signing up. The Browns ain't playing around.
They're not messing around. Who's got new faces on new teams? I mean, that's everything's going on. It's very exciting right now.
And we ain't did.
And we're not doing anything.
We ain't did nothing.
But we did make one move, and you were just getting ready to get into that.
Right, we did. Let me get a shout out to Zachary Ryan. He just jumped in there. What's up, Zach? We're gonna talk some Cowboys football. But yes, we did have one signing, and it was for the franchise tag, Mr. DeMarcus Lawrence. As you see him up there throwing his hand up because he's talking about getting paid. He's saying he's trying to break the bank. So I feel like if money is his motivation to do whatever he got to do to get them sacks on the field, hey, get that money. But I'm not mad at it. I know some people were frustrated because it takes a little bit of the cap space because it's a 1 year, $17 million guaranteed. But at the end of the day, we needed a war daddy. He did prove it when he had his prove it time. He has had a season where he had 8 sacks. So I think let's get him another year where he can prove it. I think he actually will. I think as long as he stays healthy, I think DeMarcus Lawrence will be a good force for the Dallas Cowboys.
I just hate how much cap room it takes up.
What up, Bill? Yeah,
it's a ton, and it's all just for one season.
But here's the thing.
And is he really worth that? Because he had a good start to the season. He kind of faded off a little bit and then had a strong finish. But still, I don't know if he's worth all that. He didn't. He only proved it that 1 year, and I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, Olivier Vernon had the same type of stats, and he had under those 10 sacks. I think he just had a 10-sack year, and he got that big contract where he was the highest paid when he came over to New York. So it's really what the market says. It's not really maybe what the player's really worth is what the market says. I mean, honestly, is really Garoppolo worth that much money, and you've only seen him in 5 games?
Right.
So it's what the market says.
It's a chance you got to take, and you got to ask yourself, like, what else is out there? What are you going to get that's better than that? And what are other teams willing to pay? So if you can get an elite pass rusher, I mean, you have to lock them up. So on that part of it, I mean, it's a good move because now you have security at that position. You're going to have a steady pass rush, and we just got guys coming back to add to that. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand when people get frustrated with it because we want to spend some cap money. But when you look at what Stephen Jones has been doing lately and what he's been saying, it looks like we weren't going to spend any money anyway. So the way he's sounding is we're content with our own. We're building through the draft, and that's that. And if you're looking at the way they're doing it, looks like that's the way it's headed. So it looks like we weren't going to spend any kind of money in the free agency pool, and we've been doing bargain brands anyway for the last 2 or 3 years. The only one I would want to go for is the Earl Thomas thing, but he could be had, but we'll talk about that later. But that's what the market is looking like as far as Stephen Jones keeping his own. So it looks like that's a good way to go.
Yeah, let me thank everybody who's been tuning in with us so far over here on our Facebook Live comment section. We've got Zach Ryan, which you already said what's up, Dale Bailey, Dino, appreciate you always jumping in, Joe Obregan, thank you for tuning in, Mama T's in there, Ron Smith, the usual suspects. We appreciate all you, Tavares Peel. If you guys could give us a like and a share on the video, we appreciate that into your favorite groups.
Yes, sir.
As you can see on the top of the screen, you can listen to us or watch everywhere. We're on Google Play, iTunes, Soundcloud, Facebook Live right now. We got a Twitter page, Instagram, YouTube Live right now. It's all happening at EBSN Online and Silver and Blue Nation. So make sure you check all those out. And thanks to everybody who's tuning in. So we got comments rolling in. Do you want to take a couple comments from the Facebook section?
Yeah, I can definitely take a comments because I know Dino be going hard because he don't like that DeMarcus Lawrence got signed. But like I said, Dino, this is when you look at what it's calling for what Stephen Jones is doing, it looks like that's the right move because he's not going to spend any money. Like it doesn't those free agent receivers that's been out there that everybody's been talking about, Paul Richardson, Allen Robinson, they didn't franchise tag him. It just looks like we're not even going to touch him because we even if we had the money, I just feel like we're not really going to mess with them. So
wait, with who? With who?
Well, like a Allen Robinson.
Oh, like some free agents.
Yeah, free agents like that.
Another way to kind of think about this DeMarcus Lawrence situation too is the franchise tag could be a way to kind of buy time. You know what I mean? Until you can get a long-term deal done. So just because he's on the franchise tag doesn't rule out that a long-term deal could still be struck before the season starts.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't really feel like the long-term deal is going to happen. I feel like they got the franchise tag and let that get out the way, and they're going to worry about Zach Martin right now, and they just wanted to do that, get it out the way. He looks like he's satisfied with it. They're satisfied with it, and they'll just deal with that later. And I feel like they want to just get out the way and move on to getting Zach Martin done because he waited a whole year where Travis Frederick didn't. They got him before he got into his fifth year, the option, whereas Martin played on it, so now they're looking to get him. But I think somebody asked me, I think it was Joe, say that
I think it's O'Brien.
O'Brien. He asked me, what do you think it would take to get Earl Thomas? I think it would maybe take, first they said to get Earl was like a second or third round, but the way Seattle's getting rid of their players, it looks like they want draft picks. So, me personally, if they're talking about a third round pick, bye. Take that third round pick. If we don't have to give up a player and give maybe a couple picks up this year and we have 10, I'm okay with that because you got to get him while he's 28. He's only got maybe about 2-3 more years left of high quality of action that he's going to give you. Then he's going to start to decline. So I'm just saying if it's in your face and you can do it and they're one draft picks, don't just I know how big draft picks are, but as I said before, if you got draft picks and your team is young, it's okay. You can get rid of a few. If you got an old-ass team, then you want to keep draft picks. But if you got a young team, it's okay. And if you got a player like that can change the whole dynamic, I think you should make that happen.
So when you said a third-round pick, you said buy. You mean like as in buy to that third-round pick?
Yeah, buy to that third-round pick. Take that, Joker.
I feel like a third-round pick would be a steal for Earl Thomas.
I mean, hey, if – you
29, he's still got a good 2 to 3 prime seasons left. I think a third-round pick would be worth that because that could be a piece that could get you over the hump to the Super Bowl immediately.
Exactly. So why wouldn't you do it, especially if Seattle calls you and say, you know what, we like that third-round pick, maybe a player. And I heard they were throwing in Jeff Heath. Let's say they asked for Jeff Heath and a third-round player. You're not doing that, Stephen Jones?
I mean, you got to do that.
You have to do. You have to pull the trigger. I mean, even if they wanted 2 picks, it's okay to do it this year because every year you don't have those compensatory picks. We have them. We don't have to go gung-ho with them, but do something if it's available to do when you have the chance. Don't just sit there and say, oh, we'll just use all these picks to get some rookies. You really think rookies are going to take us to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and you see it happen all the time. Guys just getting traded left and right for mid-round picks. And Seattle's in a position right now where they're kind of rebuilding.
Right.
Just haven't let go of
Richard they're getting rid of everybody.
I say everybody's out the door. Michael Bennett traded, so they're in a position right now
Cam
where
Chancellor may be gone.
They just need to unload guys, unload contracts. So I think if we could offer up something and we can handle that money, I think that's something that the Cowboys definitely need to consider.
I mean, and just like I think Dino said right here, and if you see a lot of people, Earl is right there at our fingertips, I feel like it was kind of meant to be when he came over at the end of the season. Like, things happen like that for a reason. So if you see something like that happening, don't move on and be in a stubborn state of mind and saying, well, we're good because we're going to do it this way. Okay, I get it, Stephen Jones, I get it. But this is Earl Thomas. This is a proven player. This isn't a fringe player. This isn't a bottom-of-the-barrel player. This is a guy who may contend in your starting lineup. This is a guy who's going to immediately come right in and change the whole dynamic of your secondary. And he's already familiar with your secondary coach. It just seems so right. And it just seems so right. And if it seems so right, pull the trigger while you have the chance.
And before we move on from Earl Thomas, because there's another topic regarding him in the news this week, let's go ahead and thank some more people who's been tuning in for Facebook Live and YouTube Live. We certainly appreciate everybody who's tuning in tonight. This is Silver and Blue Nation Live podcast on EBSN Online's Facebook, YouTube page, also over on the Silver and Blue Nation YouTube page. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you go subscribe to us on all of our social media platforms as well as Google Play, iTunes, or SoundCloud. Ron Smith said he had to go get something to eat. He'll be right back. We
Von
appreciate
Dale,
you,
what's up?
Ron. He's in there every week. Von Dale. We're looking over here at the Facebook Live comments. J.D. Gary Sr.'s in there. Dana's in there. Everybody who's always with us, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
J.D. Gary says, and we're going to try to get to everybody's questions, so if we didn't hit it, keep it coming. Send it again. I'll try to look at it. Also over on YouTube, I'm about to give you guys some love here in a sec. J.D. Gary says, what's the chances of Dez taking a pay cut or us getting rid of Crawford to free up some money?
I don't really think they're going to get rid of Tyron Crawford. That might be one of those surprise cuts. Like, it wasn't really Cedric Thornton was a surprise cut, but it was kind of surprise because they signed him for that money. I think Tyron Crawford is going to stay there and probably play out this year, and then I feel like next year is going to be his year. Something may happen to him. Dez Bryant taking a pay cut, I don't know if he's going to take a pay cut, but at the end of the day, all I know is this, and this preludes into another subject we're going to talk about later, but they had quite a few draft people coming in for their meetings for the prospects. So if they have a whole bunch of receivers coming in for prospects, that means Dez Bryant, you got to kind of look at some things because if you don't take a pay cut with the Dallas Cowboys, right, and you go sign somewhere else, you're not going to make that same kind of money. You're not going to go somewhere and get a huge contract. I'm telling you, you're just not. You're going to get how many guys have we seen that decline a little bit and they go out? They don't get the big free agent deals no more. They're not throwing out that kind of money like that no more, especially if they feel like you're a little bit declining and you weren't balling out over somewhere else. They're not going to throw that money out to you again. So, hey, we about to see what's really going to happen.
And you receiving money also factors in to your age and where you're at in your career, how long you've been doing it. He's going into his 9th season.
Yeah, he'll be 29
years
old.
That factors in. They're going to look at you like you're old now, so you don't have much time. You could fall off immediately. You know how guys hit that wall.
Hit that wall. 30 is the wall.
So I don't know necessarily if Dez Bryant is done or if he's not good because I watched a really cool video, and I apologize because I can't remember the person's name who made the video, but it was a nice video breaking down how Dak messed up a lot of passes towards
where it said
Dez.
Dez is innocent?
Well, basically, yeah. I mean, it was showing like how and there was a hard time for Dez out there getting used to a young quarterback, but I do think he still has. If he went to play with a better quarterback, he probably would do a little bit better.
He would,
but he's not. He's past his prime.
I feel like he's past the prime too. I feel
Year
like
9's past.
I feel like he's starting the decline. I feel like the decline is starting, and he has to be with a certain type of quarterback right now. And I don't feel like I don't know if the Dez connection is really going to be that thing. It might not happen. It just may not happen. And just because we forced it because it was in our face doesn't mean it was real. You know what I mean? And like I said, when Ari was on the show last week and he came in and he said, he thinks Dez Bryant should go because not just because of the money, is because of the alpha thing. And I think that's really the big key. And I don't want to see this Dez Bryant cut from the Cowboys. People think I don't want to see that. Like, I love Dez Bryant. Like, I like him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
See him go anywhere.
I don't want to see that happen.
I said that as well last week. You're talking about Ari Timken from ESPN San Antonio who called into the show last week. I was saying that myself, how, when Dez first came into the league back in 2010, Romo had already kind of been established.
Right.
He'd been a little bit of a veteran already. He'd played with T.O., And so
he made Dez better.
Dez was looking up to Romo.
Exactly.
Well, now Dez is the guy, and he's probably expecting Dak to be looking up to him, but maybe it's not working that way.
And I can listen to what you say on that, and that's where I feel like the disconnect is because just as you said, Romo came in, was established. Dez came in like the young guy. Dez was eager to listen, and Romo could just basically coach him and get him under his wing and make him play the way he wanted. Now Dez is there, but I don't feel like Dak looks at Dez like he's the leader. So I feel like that's where the disconnect is. I feel like Dak wants to be the leader of the team, and until one of those have to go, that's where the friction is going to be as far as who's going to be the leader. When I feel like when Dez Bryant goes, and I'm not advocating Dez Bryant leave the Cowboys, but I feel like when he does go, Dak's going to feel like this is his team. He doesn't have to force the ball to anybody. He can just get it to who he wants. And I feel like that's when we'll see the more so-called Dak-friendly offense.
Okay, back into the Facebook comments because we meant to get into that a little bit before we got off on the whole Dez kick. Let me jump over here on YouTube real quick because I said I would do that.
All right.
We got Cowboys X Factor in here. He says, "What's up?
What up?
Silver and Blue Nation." We'll get to your comment. He said, "What's your thoughts on Tremaine Johnson rumors?" You want to address that real quick?
Cornerback, I believe cornerback. To me, rumors. Who are we really going to get? I just don't believe Stephen Jones is spending out no money. Like, We've had all kind of players jumping out there. We're not touching any of them, and I just feel like we're not. I feel like we just need to kind of let it go this year. I feel like, honestly, Cowboy fans, we need to let it go as much as we want it so bad. I feel like the only thing that may be in sight is Earl Thomas, but these other little picks, Tremaine Johnson or anybody else, I feel like Dallas is not going to touch them. I feel like Dallas is going to worry about DeMarcus Lawrence, Zach Martin, and worrying about their own and going. They're going to go hard in this draft, and I just don't see them biting at somebody right now, especially like a cornerback. If they're going to get anybody, maybe they might look at Vaccaro.
Yeah,
Vaccaro.
that's safety. You're talking about safety.
Safety of Vaccaro, but I don't feel like they're going to really touch cornerback because I feel like they're set at
We're
cornerback.
stacked at cornerback.
You know what I mean? They're not going to touch that.
I mean, you can name 5 guys right off the top of your head that are
and they're
household
cheap.
names.
You know what I'm saying? And they're cheap, so they're not going to put some guy like a Richard Sherman. Like, even though I post on the page, we know damn well we weren't getting no damn Richard Sherman. He wasn't coming here.
You know what? That was a big talk a season or two ago.
But that's when we needed it because we had got rid of our whole secondary. We got rid of all our corners.
Yeah, we got them now, though.
Now we have them, so there's no need to even look at a Richard Sherman. But we don't have our safety.
And, people hear Richard Sherman, it's a big name.
Right.
They think, we need him, but they don't think about how he's older now and he's had 2 ACL surgeries, and, that's a big
still
risk.
Balling.
Cowtown Tex over here on YouTube, we appreciate you tuning in. He says Zach Martin needs to hurry up and sign something. You just kind of mentioned him.
Mm-hmm.
You think that deal's going to get done?
Yeah, I think it is. It has to get done. I mean, he's proven his worth. I mean, he should be the highest paid guard in the league right now because, I mean, you look at what he did last year. I don't think he gave up a sack last year or a holding penalty. I think he had maybe 1 holding penalty. So the dude has played ridiculous since day one. Since he stepped on the field with the Dallas Cowboys, he's been nothing but a beast. I remember when we drafted him, I was excited because the main thought I was like, man, he played at Notre Dame. He played at guard. That's why I feel like this kid, that Quentin Nelson that we were watching from Notre Dame, I feel like he's going to be another nasty guy from Notre Dame because those guys, those guards, tackles, centers that come out of Notre Dame are always really good. And so Zach Martin going to get his money. That's for damn sure.
Cowboys X Factor says, keep up the good work, Big Game James. He says he'd like to see you sign with the Cowboys.
Hey.
And if you didn't know, he has a weekly segment. It's Coach J's Film Day.
Yes.
That we usually drop that every Sunday night or Monday morning.
Yeah.
This week we might have it a day late.
But it's going to be hot.
Either
though.
way, it'll be out.
It's
going to
be
real
new.
soon. And
it's going to be hot.
If you missed the first 4 editions, because what he does is break down our draft and who he thinks we're going to pick. And so far, he's gotten through the 4th round. So if you want to go check that out on our YouTube page, you can go subscribe there, and you can look at the playlist, Coach J's Film Day, and you'll see it all right there, each one he's done so far. So giving you some insight into some players the Cowboys might take a look at. One thing I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about back on that Earl Thomas situation, because we didn't really dive into it too much with him and Kenny Vaccaro working out in Austin.
Right.
So what do you think that's about? Why are they –
Well, because they both went to University of Texas, so I don't think that's a big thing at all. That's probably something they do every single year. Just like you got Ohio State players and Alabama players every year, they come back to their own schools. Miami Hurricanes is not something crazy. They always go back and work out in the facilities, and it's in Texas, and now they're the hot names as far as maybe being possibly linked to the Dallas Cowboys. So anywhere they do anything in Dallas, any kind of workout, if they drive down the street and it was right past, if Earl Thomas gets in his Beamer or something, drives past the Dome, then they're going to be like, oh, shoot, did you see that? That means he's signing.
Yeah, I was thinking, wouldn't it be interesting if somehow they were able to sign both?
I don't know.
But you got Xavier Woods, so I kind of want to talk about the safety position in itself. So what are we looking like there right now? If it started today, who's the starters right now? If
it started today, I think they would still have Byron Jones out there because they haven't transitioned him to the corner. It's just been talk. I think right now the safeties will still be Byron Jones and Jeff Heath. I feel like those will be our starting safeties. I feel like there's going to have to be a battle in that camp to see who's what, because at the end of the day, Jeff Heath is a free safety to me. He's not a strong safety. Byron Jones is a free safety. And the problem we had in our coverage schemes, because you got 2 free safety, not really a strong safety, then you had to rotate Kayvon Frazier in because he's a strong safety. So it was a lot of mix and matching. I think that's where the confusion came in, sometimes maybe some coverages. And they even spoke about that at times because of too much of the substitution happening. But I feel like Heath and Byron Jones will be our starting safeties, and that's still not scary to anybody.
Over here on Facebook Live, Dino Cogswell wants to know what the YouTube channel is. It's we actually have two of them. You can go to EBSN Online. You can find us there. You can also find all of our content right there, as well as other shows. If you like Ohio sports, Dino, I'm pretty sure you're in Ohio, so that might work out for you.
Yes, sir.
And then also
Dino's the down one.
You can go over to our Silver and Blue Nation YouTube page as well. But to hear all of our podcasts back or watch all of our videos back, all that good stuff, you can definitely find it on EBSN Online. You can see it up at the top of the screen there, all the different ways you can watch or listen. So make sure you're doing that for us. And if you like this video, make sure you give us a like and share into your favorite groups. Invite all your Cowboys friends. We certainly appreciate that. Have you been checking out these comments at all?
I've been looking at a few of them. Vondell said we need a big hitter. And also, make sure you keep checking in because I believe we're going to have here in about maybe 10 minutes, Mr. C.J. Richardson is going to call in. He called in earlier during the season. We had him on. You know, we chopped it up on Facebook and whatever. So I seen him on, what is it, First Take with Stephen A. Smith. He got to battle him. So I seen it. I was like, oh, what's up, man? So I hollered at him, and he's going to be on here probably about another maybe 10 minutes. So that'll be a good call. But, yes, I've been checking in. Vondell says we need a big hitter. I think we need a big hitter too, but I need somebody like a Derwin James big hitter. You got to be able to hit and cover. We need a guy like that. One of those guys that have range to be able to do anything, everything. That's the guy that's going to change the Dallas Cowboys secondary.
That's a perfect segue because we were going to be talking about him, so you can dive right into it.
Who's that?
Derwin James.
Derwin James? All right, well, number one, Derwin James. They already been talking about Derwin James because he says if the Dallas Cowboys want him, we're going to have to trade up to get him. Now, we got the commodity to do it. I don't know if they are so sold on Derwin James that they would trade up to get him, but the dude is he's a beast. Like I said, 6'3". I think he came in like 220 pounds, ran the 4.3, 840, just a freak. And that's the type of guy that's Sean Taylor. That Sean Taylor type, that big, rangy safety. When you get that big, rangy safety that's like super athletic, it changes the game, and when he actually knows what he's doing and can command everybody else in the secondary, changes the whole secondary. When you saw Sean Taylor with the Redskins, I mean, gee, when we used to play the Redskins, he was the one I was worried about.
He was a monster. I mean, if he would have been able to play longer, there's no doubt he would have probably been maybe the best of all time.
Right, and you saw how like he just came in and he was not only did he have range, he was an enforcer.
He definitely had that talent level.
You know what I mean? And look how he changed that defense with the Redskins. They were okay in the secondary, but him being in there made everybody else confident. It made everybody else play better. It raised everybody else's game because you have a game-changing player. When you get those type of players, it raises the level of everybody else, and that's why you have to get one of those. And that's why I said Earl Thomas should be a guy that you should look at because we need game changers. We need dogs. We don't just need guys that are good. We need a guy that's great. And when I get that guy that's great, he changes everybody else on the team and makes them step their game up.
Over here in the Facebook Live comments, appreciate everybody who's watching and tuning in. Our guy Jop Young tunes in. He's always got us up on the big screen. We appreciate you, Jop. Thank you very much for watching every week. Cherokee Singh said we need a middle linebacker. Hopefully I said that right, to set the tone. We definitely going to be needing a middle linebacker, especially if we're going to be maybe possibly losing Anthony Hitchens.
Yeah, because, you know, they're talking about him maybe going to the Colts because he's won $8 to $10 million. So, and, you know, Eberflus was, you know, they were really close. So it doesn't look like he may come back. We're still in limbo. I don't think Dallas is going to pay him $8 to $10 million. I just don't think they are. They may jump out there and surprise me on that one, but that needed to be addressed anyway. Even if we brought Anthony Hitchens back, we still needed another linebacker because we can't be sitting there saying, oh, we got 3 linebackers. Don't draft a linebacker. No, that's our problem. That's how we get caught up and get in trouble. No, just because you got a linebacker, draft more. You got to have it because injuries happen. Nobody makes it through the season. Everybody gets hurt. So you got to have depth. And that's been our biggest problem is having quality depth, not just depth. That a guy comes off the bench and your whole team falls off. Guys that are dogs that can come off the bench. And that's what we need to do.
Looking over here on YouTube Live, Cowtown Tex has a question. He says, are we over Beasley yet?
I already said a million times, get rid of Beasley. I mean, You can get a couple receivers in this draft, and look. I mean, look how Dak Prescott and Switzer are kicking it. I feel like that's going to be a nice little combo next year.
I was going to say, do you think Ryan Switzer's better?
Yeah, I feel like he is, and maybe he has to show it to me. Maybe he does, and I'm not disrespecting Cole Beasley. I promise you, I'm not. Beasley just came in and did a wonderful being undrafted, coming in, and he's done work. So I'm not disrespecting Cole Beasley at all. He's a good player, but this is a business, and if I drafted a receiver behind him that has the same skill set with the same type of size, now I'm going to use Beasley at 29 to try to get something for him now, because I can draft a couple of receivers and make a core. Why would I do that? So that's the reason why I said yes. I would look for feelers for Cole Beasley. That's just the way it is.
And then also sticking over here in our YouTube live, because I want to thank a couple new people that tuned in. We got Xavier Giles says, "What's up, Cowboys Nation?" What's up, Xavier?
What's up?
Appreciate you turning in. You can get some glory hole.
And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
That's for you.
Let me give Mama T her shout out. She's been going ham on me right now. Sorry, Mama T. She sent a video of her boy Switzer with the video, him getting married with the little party. I love the Mama T. You know, Switzer looked like he was real tipsy. That's all I can say. He just like he was real tipsy, having a good time. Him, Taco. And let me just say something about the video, because I posted a video, and you know, I had some people jump on there like they should be training. I seen a video of Alvin Kamara, and he had, you know, a training video, and those guys, the dude's getting married. I mean, he's getting married. You're allowed to kick it when you get married. You're not supposed to be training.
I mean, they're humans.
They're humans. They're allowed to have fun. I get it how they need to be focused, but it's okay. Like, they're human beings. They don't just sit around and freaking lift weights 24 hours a day. They just don't do that.
So talking a little bit more about Ryan Switzer, then what do you see his role being for the season coming up? I mean, you think he's going to end up overtaking that job and being the starter this year? Definitely going to be returning more punts?
I hope so. They're gonna probably hold on to Cole Beasley and try to. I want him to come in and take over the slot where Beasley was, and I want to get something for Beasley. And Switzer has the ability to do it. We saw just in the Eagles game when he actually got some time, he was getting open. He had 5 catches, I think, for like 76 yards. He was getting open, and his short, sudden quickness is really nasty. And I feel like he can take it to the house farther than a Cole Beasley. We saw in the Giants game when we threw and Cole Beasley had the little shake move, how he got caught from behind. I don't see a lot of times where you're going to see Ryan Switzer getting caught behind like a Cole Beasley. And I feel like Ryan Switzer has a little more moxie. I think he's just more tough. Nothing against Beasley, but I just feel like he'll go over that middle, and you know what I mean? I just feel like he just has a little more moxie, and we need to see his skill set. And if they really feature him, you're going to see a really good player in Ryan Switzer, I believe.
Yeah, he was kind of lighting it up in training camp last year as well. Just coming in as a rookie, they looked like they had chemistry there. But like I said before, with the receiver situation, when you get a guy that's drafted in the 4th round, he doesn't make a lot of money, you don't have to put him on the field. Whereas you do a guy like Cole Beasley, who's making a bunch of money, you got to get him on the field. Yeah,
and that's the problem that you do. And here's the problem with me, because you know how we're always talking about this is all about open competition. Doesn't matter if you're a 6th rounder or a 1st rounder. Well, it kind of does matter, because you know maybe if somebody's getting outplayed, and maybe a Tyron Crawford may be getting outplayed, but he's not going to sit the bench because he's making $10 million a year. So Tyron Crawford is always going to be in that rotation. You get what I mean? So money is going to keep you in that rotation. Just like when Benson Mayo was benched, they weren't paying Benson Mayo a lot of money. So that's why Benson Mayo could get benched last year, okay? But they're not going to bench a Tyron Crawford.
Columbus Jones said we got to do better using Ryan's skill on the field. That's true. And we've always kind of lacked in that area of using players the correct way.
Especially offensive players.
Ron Smith is back in the Facebook comments with us. We appreciate it. Let me jump over here to YouTube and get Fred Woods. Let me get Fred Woods' comment, and then Buddy Johnson as well. We appreciate you tuning in over here on YouTube Live. We're all over the place, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. It's everywhere. So
we're everywhere, man.
Make sure you're looking for EBSN Online and Silver and Blue Nation. I mean, you'll find that. And watch for the collaborations coming up, too, with Law Nation.
It's about to be fire.
Everything's going on. You guys have an event coming up.
Yeah, with the new A-Team. Didn't I just tell you we're the new A-Team?
The new A-Team. Fred Woods on YouTube says Dez has no sell pitch for other teams, especially the fact he missed the opportunity to rebuild the chemistry between him and Dak by not participating in the offseason workouts. His max is $6 million. He thinks that's what he's worth.
Oh no,
That's a huge pay cut.
No, I don't think he's gonna get. He's not gonna take $6
That's like
million.
a third receiver.
Yeah,
That's like Cole Beasley.
No, he's Dez Bryant's worth more than that. I'm not disrespecting Dez Bryant like that. He's still a good receiver, a very damn good receiver. I just feel like the connection with Dak and Dez is not just shouldn't exist. And Lord forgive me, I still love Dez, but I just feel like if Dak is really to take over that team, it has to be Dak and not Dez there.
I see a lot of people commenting about Derwin James and the safety position still.
They love Derwin James.
We're going to get back to that.
We love Derwin James.
And Randy Gregory as well. People are talking about him. So keep those comments coming. We're going to
self-awareness, Randy Gregory.
We're going to try to, because we have topics here too, along with what you guys are saying. So we want to kind of keep them all together, try to mix them in a little bit. So we've been talking about some wide receivers. So another thing that was kind of in the news this week was I've seen you shared an article on your Big Game James page, which is where you can go follow him on Facebook, about Martavis Bryant. So what was up with that?
Well, I mean, they're talking about, Pittsburgh is, listening to trade offers. What happened with him last year. He was kind of pouting about what was going on with the situation. And then, Juju Schuster was basically balling out, took his spot. And then, going back and forth. I've always liked Martavis Bryant. Yes, I know he smoked weed, and yes, I know he did a suspension, but he came back, he served his year, and he played a full season. So, obviously, I'm going to give him more the benefit of the doubt that maybe I can trust him a little more because he did come back a full season, didn't have problems. Yes, any player, if you're a competitor, you don't want to sit the bench. Receivers are like this. Receivers are divas. Don't we know that, G? Every receiver wants the freaking ball all the daggone time.
Yes,
and if they don't get the ball, what's the first thing they do? They pout.
Either way, I mean, and kind of.
But is he a beast?
He's a beast.
And if we had an opportunity to get him, would he not change our team?
He's going to instantly give you the deep threat.
Exactly.
And take tops off of defense.
Exactly.
Ron Smith says, what do you guys think? And this kind of ties into this. He says over here on our Facebook Live, he says, what do you think about all the trades and the Cowboys not doing anything? So that kind of ties into this situation with Martavis Bryant and wide receivers and trades. Like, we need some positions addressed during the offseason, not just in the draft, whether it's trade or free agency. So is there somewhere, what kind of position do you think they could address so that they don't really have to go into the draft with the need there?
I feel like the main thing that I feel like we would need to address in free agency, to me, would be receiver. If we could get a really good receiver at a good cost, or I think if we could get a receiver, a season one, like a Martavis Bryant, somebody who could just come in and instantly just –
Allen Robinson?
Yeah, somebody who can instantly just come in and just do work. That's the kind of guy we need instantly. We can go through the draft and get, sprinkle on defense or, offensive line sprinkle. But if we can get a free agent receiver, and there's plenty of them, there's good ones out there. We can get somebody. At least somebody can take the top off right now.
So that's what you think we should do in free agency?
I think that's the first thing we should. Yeah, I think we should attack receiver because you can get another receiver in the draft. If you get a solid, good receiver, because you don't know what's going to happen with Dez Bryant. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know.
Anything Jerry says could be smokescreen.
Right, you don't know. So get somebody out there.
But if we are going to go after a receiver, we're going to have to get rid of somebody for sure because we already got a full house. So somebody's going to have to move. And like I said before, it's going to come down to the money situation.
And don't think Terrence Williams or Beasley. I feel like everybody should be on aware. And I heard people say, oh, now you want to fire the whole receiving core. No, but if you see that you might need to upgrade in a receiver because nobody's really scared of these guys. I mean, even before, they weren't really scared of a receiving core. We just was really dynamic on that offensive line, and that run game was Ezekiel Elliott. But our receiving core was never really dynamic. Nobody was ever scared of Terrence Williams, ever. Don't anybody ever tell me, well, anybody was scared of Terrence Williams. Now, Cole Beasley, yeah, they gave Cole Beasley respect because he done showed improve. But people aren't super scared of him, and nobody's scared of Jason Witten. So who was really scared of our receiving core even when we did good in 2016? Let's be really honest.
Well, I mean, in 2016, a lot of people were saying that we might have had one of the better receiving cores.
Oh, come on.
And even going back to 14 with the same guys, Dez, Williams, and Beasley. That trio, at one point, they were in the discussion of maybe the best receiving core in the league.
I'll have to go back and check that one. I have to go back and check that one.
I'll pull it up sometime.
Please do.
Show it to you
myself. I don't have to because I don't believe that one.
So where were we on this then? We were just talking about what we were doing in the offseason, trades, biggest need. You're saying wide receivers, what we need to address,
and then
so that we can go into the draft not needing that position.
Right, and you know, remember we had a little prelude just to say. I didn't want to segue it, but you know, we're talking about receivers, and I feel like that's one of the needs to be addressed. Like I said, we had quite a few visits of receivers coming in there, and I think that's just a telling thing about the whole Dez Bryant, not just Dez Bryant, just a whole receiving core in general. We had 8 receivers visit us, quality ones. Not vagabonds, not the vagabonds.
Yeah, because you know what? At the end of the day, when we were looking at our offense last season, I mean, what was the biggest glaring,
we were struggling.
The receiving
it was
position.
the receiving core. Nobody was scared of him.
And that's kind of what I've been preaching so far this whole offseason and during this draft. We need a guy to come in to make a change, because if we don't get somebody else, guess what? We're rolling with Beasley, Williams, and Dez again, and we're going to see the exact same results that we saw last year. That's what's going to happen if we don't make a move.
Well, you know, you might be right as far as you picking that first round. I still want defense. I'm always say defense, because at the end of the day, defense wins those championships, and that can, at the end of the day, keep us in those games late when you're trying to make a big play.
Well, I'm not just saying we should do wide receiver first round. I'm just saying within the top 2 to 3 rounds.
Right.
Or free agency. I'd be happy with that too if we got one of those guys, Martavis Bryant or Allen Robinson. Let me take this call. You can go ahead and keep talking with these people for a minute.
Well, I had a few people. I'm trying to catch up with everybody. Yeah, I feel like we should really trade, or not trade, or at least use a draft pick to get a free agent wide receiver, because I feel like that could be the difference in what we're trying to do as far as the Cowboys' explosion. And plus, a veteran would help us out more than you relying on a rookie. When you're relying on a rookie to come in and do work, that's something that's if I'd rather go with a veteran who's established, get him through free agency, and then have a receiver come up underneath him, kind of grow into that role. And when he's done with the free agent contract, the other guy comes right behind him and steps in. That's the way it's supposed to be.
All right, so we'll go ahead and hold that there. And everybody who's been commenting with us, we appreciate everybody. Joshua Sold Out Williams, Stephen DeLeon Arthur. I see your comments and questions. We're going to get to those here shortly. And also everyone who's watching on YouTube, we'll get to your comments as well. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take a phone call. And we got your guy, C.J. Richardson, on the line. What's up, C.J.?
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, big dog?
Hey, I'm just chilling down here in Richmond, Virginia, man. Everything lovely.
I know it's all lovely. I seen you how lovely it was over there. I was just happening to watch TV, and then I said, what? I said, man, I liked hearing that. So I jumped in your inbox. I hit you up. I said, CJ, man.
Well, explain what you're talking about.
I'm about to tell you. So I watched CJ Richardson was on First Take, ESPN's First Take, going against Stephen A. Smith. I guess I'm going to let you explain it, but just from what I saw, you were going against Stephen A. Smith. Molly was on over there. It was sweet to see you in the middle. I was all excited. So, CJ, jump on here. Tell us how it happened. How'd you get on there, and how was the experience?
Well, what happened was ESPN, they have a Facebook page, ESPN First Take, and then they got a page called First Take Your Take. And what they do is every week they have a topic of the week, and you can submit 2-minute videos, and you can qualify for the chance to go one-on-one with Stephen A. Smith. So I entered sent in a few videos, for the fun of it, because that's the type of person I am anyway.
Right.
Plus, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, and he's the #1 Cowboy hater.
Right.
So I figured, let me go ahead and try this avenue just to get his attention. You know what I'm saying? Never thinking that I would be the one who would go up against him one-on-one.
Right.
So I sent in videos every week, and they liked them, and they aired them on First Take. I had like 4 videos air on First Take, but I was always a finalist, but I never won. So finally, this past week, they hit me back and said, "Oh, you won. So you get to debate against Stephen A. on Friday." So the topic that we were debating on this week was Lonzo Ball a bust, or did he live up to the hype? Now, it wasn't a Cowboy topic, which we all know that's what I want to debate him about, which we may get a chance in the future. So, the next day, that Friday, because I only had like about 12 hours notice. So the next day, they called and said, "Hey, we're going to call you back in about an hour. Be available between 11:30 and 12. So I called them, and they FaceTime me. Actually, that's what happened. So they FaceTime you, and they set you in a queue. And the whole time you're in a queue, you can see everybody. Everybody's talking. And everybody's real nice, too, very friendly.
Right.
So then, Stephen A. Smith comes on the line, and me and him are having a conversation. He sees all my Dallas Cowboy gear
Right.
and everything.
Right.
And he was like, "Oh, you did that to just aggravate me, didn't you?" You know, but he's joking. But
Right.
he's
Right.
joking.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So then we're having a great conversation. I'm talking with Molly, and everything is just like we're talking now. As soon as the producer says, "You guys are live in 5, 4,
The hate
3,
was on.
2, 1." Oh my goodness!
The
He
hate was-
turned on a switch. He turned the switch on, man, and just flipped out on me. And if you saw the video, you saw it. He just spazzed out on me and kind of like threw me for a loop real quick. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like he went 0 to 1,000 like really, really quick. You know,
you got to come correct when you come at him.
Exactly, you got to come correct. But here's what I found out: like, he doesn't hate the Cowboys. I know that. But when you're debating with him, he wants you to go first.
Right.
So when you go first, he uses everything you say
Against you.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
You know. So you got to have some factual information.
Yeah, you got to know what you're talking about.
See, I think one thing that other people do, like I wasn't perfect in my debate, but all my information was correct.
Right.
So when you debate him, at least have your facts correct.
Exactly.
You know,
He'll call you out.
you
Yeah.
know, and he will call you out really, really quick.
And he's going to be like,
know,
"Are you really a Cowboys fan?"
Oh, he definitely knows I'm a Cowboy.
No,
fan.
I'm just saying that he'd be that type. He would try to call you out like that. If he didn't see your facts was correct, he would come at you like that on air.
Definitely, man. So, but the experience was really, really good. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to get at him by any means.
Right.
And this was just so happened to be the avenue. But, you know, it was all positive in the end. When I look back at it, you know, it was positive. I just wish it would have been a Cowboy video. That's
Hey,
all.
you know what? That's going to happen. I feel it in my bones and I feel it in my spirit that's going to happen. I can't wait till it does because I know you're going to have the ammo and I'm going to be sitting there right there rooting you on and cheering you on because you must destroy him.
Well, see, I got all the contact information, so I'm going to be hitting them back up and see exactly what it's going to take to make it happen. If
Yeah.
I got to get signatures, whatever the case may be, we're going to make it happen.
I got you.
We
You got
gonna
my
make it happen,
signature.
so.
Send that signature my way because I got you because I'm going to be all on that. But let me ask you a
I
couple
know that.
questions, CJ, before we move on a little bit. You know, you've seen the Cowboys situation. You've seen the upcoming draft. Where would you like for the Cowboys to go with the 19th pick?
Oh, man. Personally, I like to move up. I mean, that's just me. Because at 19, you're not really sure what you're going to get. You're not sure who's going to be left. And until free agency plays out, you know, because teams will be making moves. The Jets already said next week they're making moves. As soon as the period opens. So we might have to make a move, you know, and some we may not like. But we got to make some moves and try to get – I'd like to get up a little bit higher because I don't think what we really want is going to be available. Some people are saying Ridley. Some people are saying defensive end, whatever the case may be. But I just think we need to look at the board when we're available. I kind of like the linebacker out of Virginia Tech.
CJ. See.
Hey, I can see that, though. I agree with that, maybe moving up, because when you look at when you draft a guy that high, he usually makes an impact right away on your team, and that's kind of what we did not get last year was a guy to make an immediate impact because we picked so late in the first round. When you move up, you can get a guy that can come in right away and make a play, you know, make an impact.
Hey, CJ.
And we need that. We gotta have it. The Eagles are making moves. The Giants are going. The
Rams
Giants will come back healthy.
Niners.
Wilkerson. I mean, the defensive end from the Jets is visiting with the Redskins tomorrow.
Wilkerson's visiting with the Redskins.
Yeah, everybody's making moves, man. We got to make some moves.
We can't just sit here and stand back and think like, oh, we're okay with our guys. Because if we were okay with our guys, we would have better records in the playoffs. You get what I'm saying?
I think another thing that real Cowboy fans need to understand is like when we talk about us making moves and not just being stagnant with the roster, we're not hating on the team.
Right.
We're just trying to get better.
Right.
We want to get better, like right now.
Right.
You know,
we're tired of it.
With the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, I'm PISSED to the max.
Yes. I totally agree. And that to me, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl to me was the slap in my face because it just like the Eagles, really, they just came in and did it that quick and that easy and just went to the Super Bowl and won it. That's what it just made me feel like, CJ. It made me feel like they just came in, they did this, they had a plan, they did it, and they got a Super Bowl. Like, really? You made it that easy?
But you know what the other slap in the face was?
What's that?
When when they tell you 2 years later that it was a catch.
Right. But you know what? I'm gonna keep it real, CJ. That hurts me. I felt like that was our year too, but we still had things happening in that year. But you know,
we talked about that last week.
Anything could have happened.
You still had 4 minutes on that clock, and you had Aaron Rodgers who was tearing you up all day,
and he was killing us.
And you would have had to win another game to get there. So it doesn't necessarily mean we would have went to the Super Bowl.
Hey, give me what's mine. I'll take what happens afterwards.
Right.
You still want to see what would have happened.
A lot of people say that, oh, you never know what would have happened. But I know what did happen.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like if I had the winning lottery ticket and I take it to the store and she's like, it's not a winner. And then she puts it in her pocket. And then I can find out next year that she's in Hollywood. Okay.
And that's a good analogy.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
Hey, man, CJ. Yeah, go ahead.
Mine.
Hey, so do you have any so while you're on here, because you know, we're going to move on with the show, and I do appreciate you calling in. I really do. That meant a lot to me that you did that. But just let everybody know where they can find you, you know, what you're about if anybody hasn't heard of you. You know, I want to give you that platform if you haven't anybody heard of you. You know, talk about what you're doing, where they can check you out at.
All right, so first of all, CJ Richardson. You can find me on Facebook at CJ Richardson. I'm also a comedian. You can follow my comedy page, Comedian CJ Richardson. I have a nonprofit. I do a lot of community things. We Care RVA is the page for that. But everybody knows I'm a Cowboy fan.
That's right. I know
that's what it is.
And
it's a Cowboy show.
That's a Cowboy show, and we love you, dog.
That's what it is.
Yeah, man. So, hey, I appreciate you. Make sure you know, if you want to keep on tuning into the show. But like I said, man.
Oh, I'm always tuning in.
Oh,
I'm always tuning in.
See, my man, you made me feel special, bro. You really do.
See, one thing people don't understand, though, you know, like, I support everybody. Because, you know, when you bless others, that's when you're blessed. A lot of people don't know that.
You ain't lying about that, and we're going to always continue to bless each other. Hey, man, salutes to you, my fellow Cowboy, and I appreciate you. And keep up that big work over there. You're monstering over there, and I love seeing it.
Appreciate it. I'll be watching the rest of the show. Trust me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, CJ.
Hey, you guys take care, man. Love y'all, man.
All right. Love you too, bro.
Right.
See, that's Cowboy. Right. That's Cowboy love. See, that's Cowboy love.
So a lot of people, and obviously that was CJ Richardson. If you guys missed it, he was on a debate on ESPN's First Take with Stephen A. Smith. So that was pretty cool. You can go check that out. You can go look for that link, search for it on YouTube. I'm sure it's all over the place. I mean, I've seen it over 1 million views or something like that. So it's out there. If you're a Cowboys fan, you've probably seen that. And we love seeing Stephen A. Smith be mad about the Cowboys.
Yes, I love it. But but you know, he always does premise that he don't really dislike the Cowboys.
He don't like the Cowboys fans.
He hates the fans.
Right. Well, to me, that's like the same thing almost. Really. So he's rooting for the Cowboys, but he just hates the fans. Like, I don't know.
I
because feel like he always roots for us to lose.
Because I can't say that, because that's just like with me, Ohio State Buckeyes. I don't hate the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're a good football team and they get great players. But them fans I can't stand, so it makes me hate their team even worse because they're fans. So I can agree with him.
So I'm looking through the comments a little bit here, and we took that phone call, so they kind of been stacking up over here on Facebook Live and YouTube, and a lot of people still talking about the wide receiver position.
Hey, let me name some of the receivers they brought in, G.
Who? Oh, the Cowboys?
Yeah, let me name some of the receivers they brought in.
From the Combine.
From the Combine. So these are the guys that have already visited with the Cowboys already. Sorry about that. I threw that paper up like that. So we got Michael Gallup. He's already visited, and I told you he was my number one guy who I liked. Okay. Didn't have the elite speed. He's a 4.5 guy, but he can catch. He's smooth.
I like what I saw.
He's strong. We saw him. He looked good, didn't he?
I like what I saw.
He looked really good in his drills. Then you had Christian Kirk, who we both really liked. We both like really Christian Kirk. He was just explosive. He's explosive.
Like you said, it's a deep draft at wide receiver.
Deion Kane, DJ Moore, all these guys are good. Then your guy Brown, St. Brown, who you love him.
Yeah,
he could be a good addition.
He's probably my number one prospect for us. I'd like him in the second round, maybe third.
He could be a guy for us. And then Deshaun Hamilton from Penn State. He's another guy who slip on. He's kind of slippy with his hands, but he's a good player. James Washington, we both no-go on him. Lee J. Washington, because he's just funny built. And then I'm sorry, James Washington's funny built. He don't look like a receiver, so I don't. That the neck is too short. He's just built wrong. Don't throw to him. And then we just have I think Calvin Ridley is just about to come into the fold. Another guy that I would love for DJ Chark to get up in there, because that's another guy I love out there because he's got that speed and he's big.
If you can get Chark in the 4th round like you want, that would be a steal.
That's a steal. That's a steal if that happens.
He's explosive.
Very explosive. You liked him, didn't you?
I mean, you can't. That speed is amazing. You got to have that speed.
You can't teach that. And when it's exciting when you know your quarterback can just cock up and just throw a deep ball.
When was the last time we had a guy with speed like that? Not even that wide receiver. I'm talking about just in general. Maybe Felix Jones.
That could just really take the top off. Yeah, Felix Jones might have been somebody who can really just take it off.
From the receiver position, I can't think of anyone.
It would only been Joey Galloway.
True. And
right?
He never had a good quarterback.
And he didn't have a good quarterback, right?
Running back. He was in the
But the reason why we went and got him was because of that speed, right?
Yeah.
Then he blew his knee out first year.
Imagine how they traded back then. 2 first-round picks for him.
For nothing. Wow.
You would never see 2 first-round picks for a
wide receiver now. Never.
Ever.
That will not happen. Not 2 first-rounders. You are not getting that.
Did you have any other guys on your list?
Well, I had my tight end who they brought in, who I love, Dallas Goedert from South Dakota State. Get a tight end. Don't trust on Rico. They brought in Isaiah Wynn, Will Hernandez. Will Hernandez has been targeted. I also had him as my 2nd-round pick. If we move up, I think we're going to get Will Hernandez. Some kind of way, Will Hernandez is going to be a Dallas Cowboy in my heart. He just is. Then we had Tarvarius McFadden, cornerback from Florida State. Marcus Davenport is another guy who has risen with his combine or just his athletic freakness, but he's really unpolished. So they're really going to try to find out where he's going to fall. But he visited with us. Also, Ogbo, I call him Ogbo from Oklahoma, linebacker, because that name is just too long, and I'm not going to pronounce it. It's too long and too hard. Like, his name is hard. But he's a linebacker from Oklahoma, nasty, and I think he might be a guy Dallas is going to scoop up too in the draft. That kind of rounds it out. And then Naheem Hines, remember we watched him, fast running back, ran the 4.39?
Yep.
Super fast. He came in and visited Dallas too. That's the type of fast back we need as a change of pace.
See, I feel like Lance Dunbar had that type of speed, and we didn't use him the right way.
Yeah,
but he always got hurt.
He always got hurt. There you go. Always got hurt.
We were talking about the speed and the receivers that we've had over time, and a couple comments came in. Yeah, on the Facebook Live, Vondell Jackson.
Terry Glenn.
I don't know about his top-of-the-line speed, taking the top off defenses. I don't know if
he had more of that good quick.
Yep, in between, in the middle of the field.
He was fast, though. He was fast.
He was real fast. Rocket Ishmael, he was super fast too.
Ishmael was fast. Yes,
he came in there at the end of Troy Aikman's career.
You're right. Ishmael was fast,
and I remember some bombs being thrown to him.
Remember the bomb in the Washington when overtime when Aikman threw the deep one to Ishmael when he did the fake and Ishmael went deep.
Against the Redskins. Yep.
Yeah, Redskins.
That was right there towards the end for Troy Aikman.
That was the end almost. I think maybe like that year he got knocked out with the concussion, I think, or maybe it was next year after that.
Stephen DeLon Arthur, we were still talking about the receiving core a little bit before we talked about the prospects that visited with us. And you know, when those guys visit, or I should say with the Cowboys, when those guys visit, there's a good chance they get drafted. Most of the guys at the Cowboys draft, they had some sort of pre-draft visit, or
they talked to them.
They attended Dallas Day, I think is what they call it, or something like that. You know, where they invite a bunch of guys in just from the Cowboys area, the Texas area. So that's something that to look. So when you see those meetings lists like that you just had, that's pretty telling, and you could look for those names for sure to be drafted.
I'm not gonna lie, G. You sold me on St. Brown. If Dallas were to snag St. Brown in the draft, I'm not gonna lie. I love some DJ Chark. I like Mike Gallup. But you really sold me
that
on
size.
You sold me on that because he's big.
And his hands.
We've seen him. It's different when you get to look at the players and you watch them on TV.
He was the biggest receiver.
He was the biggest one we saw out there. Like even when we saw a couple 6'6" guys out there, he was just bigger. He just had a frame and he had an attitude. Like he had a cocky, very, very, very cocky attitude.
Watch for him.
And I like him. Watch him.
And he has a cool name, Equanimus St. Brown.
I'm not saying that name. I'm saying St. Brown.
Equanimus. I would probably just call him Quan. Steve DeLeon Arthur says we need to keep Dez because Terrence Williams really didn't have a good year last year either, and I agree with that. How come we never talk about Terrence Williams being replaced?
Oh, I get it. I feel you.
I know it's the money thing. It's the money. That's what it is.
Right.
So,
but he's right. We should be talking about Terrence Williams and his drops because he just re-signed and he didn't do anything.
I'm looking at Dez Bryant right now with Dez, and his number is like he's a number 2. So we need a number 1 to go and then have Dez be the number 2.
Exactly.
Or they can be around, the same type of skill level. take pressure off one another.
Now, you know we would be nasty if we transitioned Dez to the number 2. You had Ryan Switzer in the slot. You got you a really nice, fast, big receiver. And then you got traded Terrence Williams out of there, and you got something for him. And Beasley.
And it don't even have to be number 2. It could be co-starters. Just so you ain't hurting anybody's feelings.
How is that not looking better? You know what I mean? You still got Noah Brown in the fold, too, and you still got KD Drummond back there. Nobody's talking about him. They picked him up. He's a fast kid, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's something needs done, though. We need to see something different.
Yeah, something needs to happen.
Vondell Jackson said trade for Corey Coleman. The Browns aren't going to let him go. That was a first-round pick.
He's in the fold. He's a good player.
Now their receiving core is loaded, so they're not
Josh
letting
Gordon,
anybody
Jarvis
go.
Landry. Are you
Jarvis
serious?
Landry led the league in catches last year.
But look at the explosive. They're going to throw him in the slot, and you got him and Josh Gordon out there on the outsides?
We have a Packers fan / Eagles fan.
Oh, he's been trolling the whole
time. I don't know what they are, but pick your team,
them.
Packers or Eagles. I don't know which one you are, but you get one of these.
I wasn't even going to give him no love. He been trolling the whole time. He bored.
Just want everybody in the comment section to get after him.
Get after him. He's bored.
If you made comments and we didn't get to them, keep them coming in. I'm trying to go back through and look at what everybody said. And if I miss, I'm going to miss a lot. And make sure they're good so I can notice them and get them. So
let me ask you this, G.
If I missed it, send them back to us.
Honey Badger.
No.
Me neither.
Too hurt. Several reasons.
Hurt.
Age.
Too little.
Injury. Money. I just don't.
I love Honey Badger too.
I don't see that being an option.
He's just too little. He's just too little.
I'd rather Vaccaro or Earl Thomas.
Yeah, he's just too little.
I think Vaccaro might be a realistic option. Because you said wide receiver might be what we need to snag up first in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
I think safety could be right there, too, with one of the top positions in free agency to pick up. Into the draft.
So if we hit, let's say hypothetically they get a wide receiver and a safety, right? Let's say Vaccaro, they don't go after Earl Thomas. We get a okay. Let's say Paul Richardson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're looking at the draft.
That's funny you said that.
Why?
Buddy Johnson over here on YouTube said he wants Paul Richardson. He's 25 years old. I'd rather have him than Dez. And this was a few minutes ago he said that. So.
No, I would rather keep Dez and Paul Richardson and get rid of Terrence Williams. But as I said before, when we all think about this is my biggest thing. I don't feel like Dez can be the number one. Dak has to be the man in this offense. It has to be about Dak Prescott for this offense to be great.
Hey, that's a good segue then, because that's another topic we wanted to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to talk about the Dak-friendly offense and what does that mean, and so what are we going to see change basically, I guess, from last year this year? Because I know a lot of people argue that he was still in the Romo-friendly offense. So are we going to see some kind of great changes this year?
I think they're really hyping this. I think they're really hyping this, and just to make it sound really good for us to shut the hell up and leave them alone. I think that's why they're saying we're doing the Dak-friendly. I mean, did you notice how they're saying the Dak-friendly offense when everybody was complaining about Scott Linehan, and right after they announced they were like, wait, going to keep him, then everybody's like, what the hell? Now everybody, we're doing the Dak-friendly offense. We're changing up. We're doing Dak-friendly. I don't know what the hell Dak-friendly is. I don't know what I don't know what Dak-friendly is. Does that mean he goes back to playing college like he was at Mississippi State, where he's never under center? I mean, are you doing more dump offs? Are you doing more screens, bubble screens? Are you getting smaller receivers? What's a Dak-friendly offense, Scott Linehan?
When I hear Dak-friendly offense, I think whatever his strengths are, that's what they're going to try to play to his strengths and utilize. So basically, they're going to probably sit him down and say, hey, what do you want to do, and implement the type of plays that he's most comfortable with and the things that, that's friendly to him. So, because they used to use the term Romo-friendly for years. Mm-hmm. I still don't know what that meant or what that means either. Right. So I don't know what they mean when they say that. It really makes no sense to me.
Yeah, Tavarius Pill says they need to make a Zeke-friendly offense. It's already Zeke-friendly. It's hella Zeke-friendly. But
he came into it being Zeke-friendly already.
It really was. It just needs to be an offense. I don't know how hard this is and how complicated this is. This should be complicated. All these other teams are seem to make it work and make it happen. I don't see a reason why we can't the Dallas Cowboys can. This should be really easy to put together. You got one of the best running backs in the game. You still got a solid offensive line. You got a young quarterback who's still growing into the position, and you got receivers, or you can pick up people through the draft or whatever where you can make a difference. So how hard is this to get the offense back on the right track? This shouldn't be a hard thing to make happen. It really shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an answer for what happened with the offense last year other than I could say maybe along the lines of the comments that Charles Haley made, that maybe they came
bunch of damn losers.
They came in thinking that they were just going to go win it, and it didn't work out like that. And I think it was a little bit more difficult than what maybe they anticipated because it was so easy in the rookie season. So that's, for me, that's the only answer that I would have as to why it was different last year, because you had the same exact players, the same exact staff, and then it just didn't work. So I don't know if that's just defense caught on, or you guys thought you were going to be better than you were, or, I don't know, but it didn't work. I
got you, Tavares. My bad on that. I feel you. Derek, my guy, make sure you check out this article. Matter of fact, he's got Dallas Prospect. That's our guy. That's who we roll with as well. But check out the article.
What? Real quick, I'm sorry. Where'd that come from?
Tavares was talking about with Zeke and the Le'Veon Bell.
Yes, we were going to get to that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good with the Le'Veon Bell. He was saying that's what he was comparing the Zeke and Le'Veon Bell, how we don't use them like they do Le'Veon Bell, which that's why I was like, yes, make sure you check out that my guy Derek Kirby, because he did a really good article and a quick little show where he was talking about that, how he was frustrated, and it really is frustrating when you see a guy like Bell who's bigger than Zeke, and he's still more fluid as far as catching the ball. And we know when Zeke gets the ball, it's been shown in the San Francisco games and even the Steelers games. Get the ball to Zeke in space, he can make things happen.
Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit then, because in my mind, Zeke does not have the same skill set that a Le'Veon Bell has to make those type of plays. Bell is a lot longer. His legs are longer. His reach is longer. He has more of a wide receiver built body, to where in my mind with Zeke, he has more of a shorter, stubbier running back build. Zeke's built more like James Washington, and Bell's built more like a receiver should be, if that makes sense, since we were kind of making that James Washington comparison.
See, that's why I don't like you, because you just stumped me, and I wanted to come back and get you. No,
I just want you to see another side of it.
I see the side of it, and you're right. That's why I'm pissed off at you, because you had to come back and make the comparison, because when you're saying it like that, I kept it in my heart that I didn't want you to be right when you just said
Well,
that.
I mean, it's rare. It's rare to find
a
guys,
running back who's long
right,
like that. That's why you're right.
Another guy that fits that category is Todd Gurley with the Rams.
Yes.
He has wide receiver type qualities.
But both of those guys are about 6'2", though.
Right, and that's what
Zeke
I'm saying.
is about 5'11".
Zeke's more of a true running back.
Yeah, he has that more stockier build-up type where it's almost like you couldn't throw a high ball to him because he's short.
Yeah, right.
Where you could throw a high ball to a Gurley or a Le'Veon Bell. He could just snag it out the sky and then do quick receiver moves.
And you see them play slants. I mean,
I think they're basketball players too.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I know that sport translates very well, and they probably know how to box you out and things like that. But, like I said, he's built more like a wide receiver when you're talking about Le'Veon Bell. You even seen it ourselves in Zeke's rookie year when he lined up in the slot and caught a pass just like a wide receiver would, on a bullet pass from Ben Roethlisberger in the back of the end zone. Mm-hmm. So you see those wide receiver type traits. I was actually talking to Derek myself about this yesterday. We were talking about his article and how I was bringing up the argument I just brought up about Zeke, and he made an argument that we've seen Zeke catch the ball with like one hand. Yes, but that's he kind of would catch that as it's dropping in, underneath, over the top of the shoulder type of catch. He's not going to be the guy to go up there and stick his arms up high and go up with his hands and get it.
No, he's not, because he just doesn't have the.
I've seen him do that, and he drops balls when that happens. I don't think he has the skill set like a Bell does.
He's more stumpier, like you say, like with James Washington. That's why I'm saying don't draft James Washington, because if you're throwing a long ball to him, he can't jump up in the air and put his arms up like this and go get it. It has to fall into him, because he just doesn't have that linear. Whereas you could see like a Martavius Bryant, where you could throw it to him and he could go up there because he's lanky and he's long. He can go up there and get it. Whereas James Washington is not going to beat people on 50-50 balls.
And I want to give credit to 24/7 Sports for that sweet pick that we have up there. And with that situation too, you could argue, even though that's not the case with Zeke having that same skill set, I still would make the argument that Zeke is the better running back.
He is the better running back.
I don't think Le'Veon Bell is as good of a pure running back out of the backfield. So they both have their pros and cons, but I like Zeke better on screens and check downs than I do lining him up in the slot. I just don't see that happening.
Well, if you're looking at the better overall back then, but if you look at, yes, Bell is a better receiver, Elliott is a better runner, but if you're looking at blocking, I definitely feel like Ezekiel Elliott is definitely a better blocker than Le'Veon Bell, heads and shoulders.
I mean, I can see that argument. I think they're both very solid in that area.
I feel where you talk about the height, I feel like that hurts Le'Veon Bell when he gets guys that can come underneath him because he's taller and he can't come underneath them to block him. Where you have Ezekiel Elliott, who's already kind of stocky and stumpy, and if they come in on a quick blitz, he's underneath them and can peel them quicker and peel them out the way where it can open a window up easier for a Dak Prescott, whereas a Le'Veon Bell is taller. He would just hold him straight up, and it'll be in your quarterback's way.
He'll get up-ended. The guy will get up underneath him.
Exactly.
But, we might be debating the top 2 running backs in the league right now. So they're both going to have, good and bad, versus each other if you want to compare them. They're both going to demand the highest dollar in the league. So they're both probably going to be the top 2 paid running backs. So, I mean, it's a good debate. But on another hand, with this whole argument about Cowboys not using Zeke like the way the Steelers do Bell, I agree with them as far as we don't use players the way that they should be used, i.e. Ryan Switzer's, Lance Dunbar's, these kind of guys. So I'm with them on that part, but I do not believe Zeke is fit to play that type of role that Le'Veon Bell does with the Steelers.
He may not, but he still should be getting at least 40 catches out the backfield.
And that's what I'm saying, like when it comes to – I'd like to see more design, like screens and things like that set up.
He at least has to get that ball in space because he's good in space.
Yeah. And Pablo Chapa, big hello from Loretto, Texas. Appreciate you tuning in.
Yes,
all
sir.
of our Texas people, everybody. Marcy Shabazz.
I'll be back home in 2 weeks.
Stephen Arthur, Michael Balderez. Like he just said it, he's coming down to Texas. He'll be there. So
nice.
Get ready to go check him out. If you want to actually tell him about your event you got coming up.
Yeah, we got an event, Dallas Prospects, Derek Kirby, Law Nation, myself, Computer from, honorary member from 3-6 Mafia, and he gets down there in Texas. We'll be out there March 22nd at a venue at Mexico in Plano, Texas. I got to get that address. I need to get that flyer up here, G. That's my fault. But it's March 22nd, Mexico in Plano, Texas, 7:30. It's going to be evening forum, half off on drinks. We're going to be having Cowboys talk, huge venue. You're going to be loving it. I'm going to be excited. Getting my ticket actually today. Getting that plane ticket today, feeling good. We're just going to have a good time. And if you're down in the Plano or you're in the Texas area and you're in Plano Thursday, the 22nd, March 22nd, get down there to Mexico, Plano, Texas. We're going to be there. It's going to be hyped.
Yeah, make sure you go follow Law Nation and the Dallas Prospects.
Dallas Prospects for sure.
And tune in Wednesday night because we're going to be doing some sort of show with these guys. So make sure you're looking around on the Dallas Prospect in that area. Go follow them. Look for that show to drop. Tavares Peel, he's talking over here in the Facebook Live comments. He's saying we don't use Zeke like Steelers use Bell was my point. Yeah, I mean, and we just had that argument, but he's kind of touching on what I said about these possibly being the top 2 running backs in the league. So he throws up David Johnson. I mean, yeah, he's in the discussion too.
Yeah,
he's one of the top backs. I'm just saying you can argue who the top back is. I'm just saying these 2 might be the top 2 backs in the league.
Yeah, well, it's going to be – and David Johnson's in the equation because he can catch out the backfield as well. So and he can take kick returns to the house. He's got that size and speed. We kind of forgot about him because he has the injury.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay healthy. He had the little bit of an injury. So, yes, you have to look at it. But when you look at the discussion of the top backs in the NFL, Ezekiel Elliott is right there regardless of the fact with anything. Facts out.
All right, so there was another discussion I wanted to get into, and this is kind of switching gears a little bit. And if anybody's been in the comment section and we didn't get your comment,
we apologize.
Send them back through, or make sure you tune in because we're here every Sunday. So if we didn't get yours today, I'm sure we're going to get it next week. And keep it coming because I'm just randomly looking down here, and if I see him, I see him. If I don't, I'm sorry. It's just coming in so fast, and I'm trying to watch Facebook, YouTube, and run the show and talk all at the same time.
Tell them stop making excuses.
So
tell producer G stop making excuses.
So just hang in there with us. And right now, one other topic I had was getting back to the draft a little bit.
Grand Prairie.
Shaq Griffin. We know this guy.
Oh yeah,
he's a great story. We know that. Obviously he was born without one of his hands. I've seen the story. The circulation was cut off to his wrist when he was in the womb and when he came out. Obviously, there was some deformity with his hand. He grew up a little bit, having like kind of stub fingers. He said they hurt, and this is just a little thing I watched real quick.
Yeah, it's good.
And he started playing football, and the more physical he was being, the more them little nubs he had hurt him. So he ended up having those removed at a young age, the little nubs. So now he has this little, just a nub
like
of a hand, but it doesn't hurt him. He doesn't have pain with it. So he's found a way to catch, to lift weights, and do everything with that hand, and really, in my mind, be a very effective player. So at least on the college level, I don't know what he's going to do in the pros, but I know he won some awards for being the best player of his conference. So I guess the question here is, would you draft Shaq Griffin? And if you did, what type of round would you take a chance on him in?
Hell yeah, I'd draft Shaq Griffin. Hell yes, I would draft Shaq Griffin. Round, I would look at more of maybe 5th round type deal. 5th, maybe 6th round type deal. Look around right there. Start out with special teams. Come in and spot duty, like maybe some rush plays, maybe a few coverage plays, just to get him acclimated, and then kind of see how he works. Definitely not a starter, and I don't think it's just about the hand. I just feel like overall, just don't feel like he's an NFL starter right now. I feel like you bring him in special teams and bring him in on splash plays, and I feel like when you get him in on that, he'll come in and get them big sacks out on the blitz, or make a big hit on a special teams play. He's a guy that's going to inspire your whole team, but because what he brings to the table, much like Jalen Smith has inspired our team, because he's come back from a crazy injury that nobody has ever played with drop foot.
Yeah, we're going to get to him in a minute.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like any team that gets him is going to bring the level of your team, because you're just going to be inspired. I know I would be running next to him and playing next to him. I have no excuses of not to work hard sitting next to Shaq Griffin.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a strong statement there. I don't know. I think in a way, this whole thing with him, it kind of reminds me a little bit of, you remember Sam? What was his name? Michael Sam. And he was gay. This guy has a missing hand. So it's just like a controversial thing with that player. So it just kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And Michael Sam was a late round draft pick, and you're saying this guy might be a later round pick too. So it kind of reminds me of that as far as whenever he gets drafted or wherever he goes, there's going to be some extra media attention.
Yes. Because
of what he has going on, the obstacles he's overcome in his life.
Yeah, it's going to follow him.
That's part of what's going to come when you pick a guy like that. So
and his brother's a baller.
It reminds me in that way a little bit of the Michael Sam situation from a few years ago. So we'll see. You root for those guys. You hope it works out for them, but you never know. But I think he's going to be better than what people think. I think he might end up being a starting caliber player in this league. I don't really know for sure, obviously, but I just think that it really could work out for him because he's just overcame all odds, and why couldn't he do another one?
Well, let me get a couple questions here while you was talking.
Yeah, we need to jump to that, yep.
Marcus Balderas, I believe that's what it is. I'm sorry if I mess up names. Please forgive me.
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live, he says, who do you think would be a good fit at receiver? As I stated before, my 2 guys that I like are Michael Gallup and DJ Chark. I am loving your guy, St. Brown. I'm not saying the first name, Q. I'm calling him Q, St. Brown from Notre Dame, big, strong. Those would be the 3 guys that I would love, because I don't think we would get Ridley or anybody else. We could get a Deshaun Hamilton, but those are the guys. I love DJ Moore, really like him, but Dallas may actually draft DJ Moore. I feel like that is the more realistic player that Dallas, because I think he's had a visit and they've been really enamored with him, and he's 6 foot 210. He balled out at Maryland. He ran a 4.43 and it really kind of elevated his status. So Dallas really kind of been looking hard at him. So me personally, those 3 guys I named to you, those are 3 guys that I personally like.
We're hearing the YouTube live comments. John Donald says, and we appreciate you tuning in, he says, what do you guys think about trading down and picking up an extra 3rd-round pick or something like that? Would you be open to trading out of the 1st round?
I wouldn't bother me. If you're going to acquire something, I just want moves to be made. I'd rather trade up. I don't really want to trade down, but I get it how you can get up more picks, but you better know who the hell you're getting if you do that. I would rather trade up because you got those other picks, and if you're not going to trade out to another team like EI or IE, Seattle Seahawks, then trade up. And, just like when CJ was on there, he likes my guy too. I'm calling him my guy because I've been on him for a long time, Mr. Tremaine Edmonds. And if you rose up to get him, he's a game changer too. Vita Vea is another guy that's one of those game changer type players. I feel like, G, we need a game changer. We need a game changer. We don't have a game changer on the defense right now.
I mean, that's kind of something that I was a little bit disappointed in last season in the draft when we took Taco Charlton late. You know, he just didn't seem like he was going to come in and make that immediate impact, which he didn't, but that was later in the first round. So like you said, and like we were talking with CJ, I would like to see a trade up, but I don't want to give up too much for it. I don't want to jump up and have a Morris Claiborne situation where you're up in the top 10 and you're picking a corner and, you know, who has question marks and his wrist is broken already. So
right.
I don't want any situations like that. If we're going to trade up, it needs to be a sure-packed impact player right away like we knew we were getting with Zeke.
Yeah. As soon as he comes in, he's a starter day one.
We already knew that about Zeke.
Yeah, like no ifs, ands, or buts. He's a starter day one. All that little crazy stuff they were talking about, we're going to ease Zeke in with the other guys. No, he's the starter. You draft him fourth. He's starting.
Steven in Grand Prairie, Texas, I know you've been watching all day. We appreciate you tuning in, and that's a good spot to be, Texas. All you guys are down there. Hopefully we can make it down there soon. I know he's coming.
Yes, sir.
Really soon, Big Game James. Ron Smith says, what do you guys think about
Josie Jewell from Iowa? I posted
Is
Josie.
this a wide receiver?
No, he's a linebacker. Linebacker Josie Jewell. They call him the Sean Lee clone. I think he had a total of 443 career tackles at Iowa. He's a tackling machine.
Khalil?
But he doesn't have that great sideline-to-sideline speed. Not the biggest guy. He's built kind of like Sean Lee. You know, Sean Lee's not big. He's not a big dude.
Yeah.
But he's real good with his mind, mental. So I feel like he dropped down a little bit. He had a good on his cone drills, but he dropped down to me. I had Fred Warner from BYU and Josie Jewell, and I was deciding who I really like between both of them, just thinking in my head. I like Fred Warner better because, number one, he has faster speed, and he's just more sideline to sideline. I think that's the type of guy that Dallas needs, that sideline to sideline guy. So if you throw that pitch out there, we're already in that backfield blowing that up. We need them type of linebackers that can shed that block, get through there, or has the speed to even get past that block and blow up the play.
And I don't care what we do, as long as we don't fall off like we do when we lose Sean Lee. I'm
Right,
good.
right. That's why we need a Tremaine Evans.
Over here in our YouTube comment section, we got Niner Empire who joined us.
Lord.
I don't even know how you found us on YouTube, but
Oh,
thanks
Lord.
for tuning in. But he's a 49ers fan, says Cowgirls equal garbage.
Right.
Damn, man. Why do we get people in here like that? But that's cool, though, because everybody
We
who's in the
appreciate
comments,
Hey.
all of our Cowboys fan, Cowtown Tex, Buddy Johnson, you guys tear him up. Get him out of there.
I don't trip about it because when I listen to a Niner fan say Cowgirls, first of all, I don't give you any kind of respect when you say Cowgirls. The first thing you say out your mouth is Cowgirls. That's very elementary now. We've moved on from the Cowgirl. Figure out a new name for the Cowboys if you're going to talk trash. If you come out with the Cowgirl statement in the very beginning, you're just lame, you're weak, and I can't even come at an argument with you. Niners, we've been smacking you. We've been smacking your butts for a long time.
Yes.
So why should I even talk to a San Francisco 49er? Y'all some bums. They got Garoppolo. They get a few guys. Now they're smelling themselves, and they want to jump on the page and start talking trash. We kick your butts.
Yes.
Shut up.
Old Richard Sherman with 2 ACL surgeries. Cowtown Tex said Cowboys 40, Niners 10. Remember that.
Mm-hmm. Real
From last
easy in your
season.
house. And
Hey.
then the year before that, we beat you too.
And for coming in.
And then the year before that.
For joining our broadcast here, we appreciate that. I wanted to tell you this.
Now you're my bitch.
For being in our conversation, we appreciate that.
Yeah, we
you just
appreciate
became our bitch.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
So thank you.
Yes, we
We
love
appreciate the support. You're giving us more stats, more views.
it. Stats and facts.
And if you're watching right now and you just joined us, you just tuning in, this is Silver and Blue Nation live podcast on EBSN Online's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. If you missed the live portion, you can go back and listen to it on your phone, plug it in your car on Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. So we're all over the place. Make sure you're liking and sharing, leaving us page ratings. I mean, just
Don't
staying
give us
in touch.
anything below a 5. If you don't like it and you don't want to put a 5, don't put anything. It's okay. Like, you can just hate us from afar.
Just hit that 5-star. If you don't like it, just jump on out the video.
Yeah, just jump on out.
Block our page.
Block it.
Unfollow it.
Unfollow it.
Turn off
Say
notifications.
you hate us. It's all good.
But if you like it, share it, turn on notifications, follow the page,
And give us a 5.
and put us up at the top of your notifications.
At the top.
You want to see us right away.
Yeah.
Because especially Big Game James page, go over and follow him on Facebook because
I'll at the page.
he's got all the Cowboys news you need all week.
Trying to tell you.
You
the
know
real.
how I prep for this show?
You know what I'm
I
saying?
look down his page. I go back to last show, and I go from that show to this show, and that's how I come up with these lists.
I just be trying to go hard. That's all.
So let's go ahead and move on a little bit then from some of these topics. And
Maurice wants some glory hole.
he wants some more glory hole. We got to give it to him.
Give him some glory hole.
Give the people what they want. And we're working on more sound effects
Yeah,
also.
we got to get some more of those.
And it is a reminder, I've been here when it was Glory Hole days, and I've been here when it was. So having said that, I want me some Glory Hole.
There it is. There's your Glory Hole.
He said, I want me some Glory Hole. He just said it so passionately.
There you go, Maurice.
You know what I mean? Hey, shout out to Maurice. I'm going to give Maurice a big shout out. Maurice is a big supporter of Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, Dallas Prospects,
Huge.
Law Nation. He is huge.
Huge.
Big shout outs. We're friends on Facebook. Big shout outs to Maurice. I really appreciate you, everything you've done for us. Give him a how about them Cowboys. He's
You know what? I got to get that sound effect loaded up, so I'm going to get it.
Well, how about them Cowboys?
Keep talking about them. I'm going to get it.
I'm going to get that for you, Maurice. I appreciate you, dog, for everything that you do for Silver and Blue Nation and everything as a whole. Everybody else, too. So let me not sit there and say nobody else, because there's a lot of people, Annette, Katina, Ron, Mama T, Vondell. There's so many people that are, invested in Silver and Blue Nation, and it just keeps staying invested in it. Because I'm telling you, this collab with Dallas Prospects, Law Nation, Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, Mark Holmes has been around, doing his thing with Dallas Prospects. I'm telling y'all, keep on following this big old collab. It's like a mothership coming together, and it's going to explode in your brain, and you're going to be like, dang, one day I can check this out, and the next day I can check this out, and it's going to be a whole kind of independent type brand, so you're just going to love it. So, hey, we're going hard in the paint.
And you know what? I wish that we could actually go back and remember every single person's name, because there's so many people, and that we appreciate that's always been tuning in with us. I mean, there's so many names I can't even think of them all, but you know what? I'm about to start making a list. And you guys always tune in one way or another, whether it's every week, and it really heats up during the football season.
Right.
So make sure that you sticking with us all throughout the off season. We're coming up on that 1 year mark.
Yeah, we are.
The next show will be
1 year.
Just about that. Well, that'll be our 1 year show. It'll be about 2 days after the actual date.
Damn.
So next week's a special show.
Make sure y'all tune in next week. That's our 1 year anniversary. We got close to it.
1 year anniversary. We might market that a little bit this week.
Yeah, we're gonna. So make sure you check in that week.
But let me get Maurice his how about them Cowboys real quick.
Give me his how about them Cowboys. That's for you, Maurice. Hey, check this out. Columbus Jones got a quick question for me. He says, make sure we've been tracking Anthony Miller from Memphis, and Anthony Miller was the guy that came in with them beastie 22 reps on the bench press with the 225.
The wide receiver.
Strong, cocky receiver, very good receiver. But for me, my three guys are Gallup, Chark, and your guy St. Thomas, because he's
St. Brown. Yeah.
St. Brown, because. Whoa, man, if we get him, dog, I'm gonna be excited. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna call you instantly like you was right.
Hey, I mean, I'd be pretty happy. That was the one.
He's beastie, bro.
That's the one position that I was most concerned about.
He is beastie, bro. He's beastie.
So hopefully we can work that. And Niner Empire is still commenting on us. So thanks for staying with us and watching. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. So even though you're not a fan, you want to watch. So that's cool.
Hey, I like that.
Like Michael Irvin says, I mean, you love us or you hate us.
But
either way, you're going to tune in,
turn in to them
to see what people are saying about them.
Exactly.
That's why they're called America's team.
Give me how about them Cowboys after it? You slipping.
How about them Cowboys?
Buddy Johnson over here on YouTube Live says, Coach Jay, what do you think about safety Van Smith?
Oh, Van Smith. I'm going to keep it real. You got me on Van Smith. I haven't really hit that guy yet. I'll be very honest with you. When we went to the combine, we got a certain amount of guys we got to look at. So during this week, I really try to focus on certain players that I really want to go after. Defensive tackles are really I would have been kind of focused on. So I apologize, sir. I will get on that. And guess what? Jump on my Big Game Change page and inbox me, and then I'll hit you back, and then, we can chat back and forth on that one. But I ain't going to sit there and be a liar and say I know him.
Well, hey, people can respect that and appreciate that.
I'm just going to keep it real with you.
Juan Madrid said every week, talking about tuning in with us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Juan. We know you're there every week. We see you all the time.
Juan definitely on there. But get in my Big Game James page, big dog, because I will be on it. Because anybody who tells me about a player that I may not have seen, because I don't get to see everybody. When anybody tells me a player, I go watch them like that night. I get on the YouTube, I get on anything, and I watch them and I look at them. So tell them to jump on my page, man, and get in my inbox so we can chat it up on that for real.
Juan Madrid said he hopes Drew Pearson's at the draft again this year.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to need something because them damn Philly fans going to try to troll the hell out of us.
You know what? This draft will be cool. It'll be fun. It's in Dallas, so it ain't going to get
I'm still trying to get down there and wait for my ticket, man. They ain't getting my ticket yet.
How cool is that going to be? Our draft picks are going to get the most cheers. You're going to get the
most,
Philly
fans, man, they're going to try to troll us, dog.
They're not coming all the way down there.
Shit.
We got way more than them.
We do. We better be deep. Cowboys fans, we got to be deep.
We're good. We're good. I already know we're going to be good. Marcy Shabazz on Facebook Lives. What do you think about safety Jesse Bates? Is that one you know about?
Yeah. Now, Jesse Bates, I do know a little bit about him, but he's going to be more of a late-round pick. Kind of a rangy guy, good size, but I feel like he's going to be more lower down in the draft. He's not going to – listen, as far as the safety position with us, we need somebody who can come in and play right now. I don't really want a guy in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round with the safety anymore. We got that with Xavier Woods. We still have Heath around. We still have Byron Jones, Kayvon Frazier. The only type of safety I want if Dallas drafts a safety is a Derwin James type. That's the only type of safety, or Earl Thomas. We don't need any other kind of safety besides those. Kenny Vaccaro will be okay. I don't think he's going to change our defense. I think he will make our defense okay. Our defense will be good, but we need a difference maker. And so anybody else outside of a Derwin James or even that Fitzpatrick from Alabama, but I still think Derwin James is the only one that I would want the Cowboys to draft as far as the safety position flat out, because I feel like he's the only one that can come in and make that change to what we really need. We don't need this. We don't need just guys that can blend in anymore. We need the guy to come in and be a difference maker. So I'm not looking at anybody else in the safety position. I'm just keeping it real.
Like even Xavier Woods, even though he came in, he did make a good impact for his first year, but he still wasn't that.
He wasn't that
changer.
guy. He wasn't that guy.
He could be, and he probably will be.
I don't know if he's that guy. He's good.
You think he's a starter?
He may be a starter. I need to see more from him. Yeah, he's small. He needs to get bigger. He looked really small this year.
I thought he was a playmaker, though.
He is. I think he is a playmaker, and he's going to get better, but I just didn't see a lot where I saw it in college. And I think, what really hurt him was the rotation that we talked about, how he couldn't get reps. He couldn't stay in the game. He couldn't get better because when he played 2 good plays, Ron Marinelli was sub him out, and then Kayvon Frazier would be in the game. You know what I mean? Yep. So it would be like, how can you really get in the flow? So you really couldn't find the appreciation of a Xavier Woods because he's not playing all the daggone time.
What's up, Annette? Thanks for tuning in. We know you're at work, and you always tune in as well every week, just like the rest of our gang here with Mama T and all of our regular people. We certainly appreciate it. Mama T, she wants to hear that Drew Pearson diss for the Eagles, and we will. I'll tell you what, we'll play that when we leave. As soon as we end it,
because it's so damn long.
We're about to end here soon, so as soon as we end, we're gonna send you off with the Drew Pearson diss in Philadelphia last year for the draft.
It never gets old.
So let's move on to a couple of these other topics that I got here before we get out of here.
All right.
We've got Jerry Jones pays the $2 million in fees for the Ezekiel Elliott case. I'm glad that's finally over with. So what do you think about that situation, I guess?
I'm glad and done. It's over with. Sign, sealed, deliver. Jerry got that long money, so $2 million ain't hurting him. He got big dough, and it's just a thing of no distractions. We need to have a season where it's no distractions. We had the distractions last year with Ezekiel Elliott, David Irvin, Lucky Whitehead. We had just tons of just some kind of distraction. We don't need that any longer. We need to just come in there and focused on winning and getting to a Super Bowl, a championship. That's the only thing that's the only mind should be on. And we don't need to be worrying about if Jerry Jones is dealing with Roger Goodell. That needs to be done and over with. So I'm glad he paid it. Get it out the way. We don't talk about it no more. And we focus on getting a championship.
I'm with you. I mean, that had to get done. We cannot have something else looming over our heads coming into the season.
Get over it.
Because even though with Zeke last year, we thought, okay, maybe he will be suspended, maybe he won't.
It was a distraction.
It was a big distraction because you didn't know week in and week out if he was going to be there or not. He'd miss a couple days and then get unsuspended and then back to suspended. And then ultimately he left when we were 5-3 and had a chance to make a run. And what happened? We fell flat and lost 3 straight games. And that pretty much ended the season for us.
Right.
So that's good to get that.
Seaber,
always in here with us. Too bad you guys tune in when the show's about to end.
Baldonado, what's up?
But you guys know how it is. If you just tune in when it's about to end, you can rewatch it right here on Facebook.
Get on the iTunes.
On YouTube, you can rewatch it. But more importantly, yes, you can put us right into your earbuds on Google Play, iTunes, and SoundCloud. So
listen,
go check us all out there.
Them voices is good too.
EBSN Online, that's where you got to find us. That's the platform right now. So that's where you're going to find Silver and Blue Nation Live podcast and reruns of the shows. So you can watch the video, the audio. I mean, all the options are there. We're actually working on another thing right now, too, that we're going to have up on ebsnonline.com because that website's being restructured, redesigned. It's going to be hot when it comes out. But right now, you can go watch and listen to us there as well. but we're working on a way to stream the audio live, just the audio portion. That way, if you're at work and you just want to have us in the earbuds, I guess you could do that on the video too, but you'll have the audio there to stream on its own as well, so that's a cool option. So moving on then to another topic that I had here, and a lot of people were speaking about this earlier, so hopefully you hung around and listened about it, but Randy Gregory, what should we expect from him? I saw someone left us a comment saying that he's supposed to be able to reapply for a reinstatement. When was it? Was it November?
Yeah, it was November.
So he won't even be able to start the season.
I think when he applies, he can be reinstated immediately. Like once they go to the commissioner, he says it's okay, he's reinstated immediately. So I don't think it's going to be like a waiting period. I think
that's in November though.
Well, no, I'm saying that he was eligible to do that last November. He's eligible for a reinstatement. They're just saying he's waiting.
So he could actually reapply right now.
He's okay. He can apply right now. He's waiting. And that's why everybody's wondering what the hell is going on with him, because he was eligible last season to do it. He's eligible to do that. What we're trying to see is he concentrating on something else? Did he get flagged for anything? Anything else going on? But to me, I'm not gonna say I moved on from Randy Gregory, but until I see Randy Gregory actually put on a helmet and shoulder pads, I don't care about Randy Gregory anymore. Not the person Randy Gregory. I care about the person Randy Gregory.
Right.
No, I can't even say that because I don't know him.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as football, nobody. I don't want to talk about Randy Gregory no
it's
more.
the same way with him as it should be for anybody who's fans of this team. Like, you just shouldn't have expectations. That's what it comes down to for him.
That same right with we need to talk about the Charles Tapper.
Charles Tapper, the Rico Gathers. I mean, all these kind of guys like that.
They need to show and prove.
The only disappointing thing about Randy Gregory is he was such a high draft pick. If he was picked late, no one would care.
Right, but the talent too really bothered me because I still, no matter what anybody tells me, some people say, you know what, he hasn't shown anything on the field, so I don't know why you think that. I get it. You can have that feeling.
He showed a little,
but I can tell a player that's a good player, and there's just certain players that are just really good. Alden Smith might be a dummy, but that doesn't take away his ability.
He was a monster. So with Randy Gregory, the fact that because I actually just learned that news from you that he could apply already and hadn't. I wasn't really sure what had been worked out with that situation, but that kind of throws up a flag to me a little bit. Like you said, making me wonder, what are you doing? Why are you waiting? Like, what's going on? Are you still smoking? Or I don't understand. Is your system not clear, ready to go? Like, what are you waiting on for reinstatement? Because now is probably the time to get that done so you don't have to have that distraction like we just talked about, something like that hanging over your head coming into the season.
Mm-hmm.
So thankfully the expectations are low for him. Otherwise it could be a distraction, but we're not relying on him, so it's not going to be a distraction for us.
All right, Ron. Ron said he's headed out of here. We appreciate you tuning in. Ron's another guy that we appreciate.
Love Ron.
Love Ron, showing big love. The C receiver's been asking a lot, you know what I mean? Asking a lot of questions, so let me jump in there and get some of these questions before we get out of here. He's asking, why are we not aggressive on trades? Because that's the Stephen Jones way right now. All I can say is this about what Stephen Jones is doing. If he's supposedly like the man in charge with this, I hope you're right, Stephen Jones. All I can say is I hope you're right. I don't believe you're right in my heart, but I hope you're right because I want to give you the benefit of the doubt because I've been banging on the Stephen Jones door because he was reeling in Jerry Jones a little bit with the trade and getting the salary cap together and, drafting good. I was like, okay, Stephen Jones, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. Now I'm like, okay, dog, you're getting a little too cheap. You don't got to break the bank. I get it.
He's always been a cheapo in my mind.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you're being stupid cheap. Like, you're beyond cheap and you're being scary with it. Like, you're using one player like you don't want to touch anybody else. And when you're talking in the media saying those things, I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. I want you to make things happen, dog.
So over here on YouTube comments, Cowtown Tech says Randy Gregory's not Alden Smith, meaning skill-wise, and then he also, and we don't know that.
No, we don't know that. And you can't tell me that.
Cowtown Tech also says Gregory's been getting tested for the past 18 months, so he should be clean.
He should be, but we still don't know.
And Cowboys X Factor says, nice show. Thanks for doing this. No problem, X Factor.
Appreciate
We're here every single week, and we have been, and we're actually about to be, next week will be our 1 year mark. So officially next week, we have been doing shows every single Sunday for the past year. So that's 52 shows, folks.
Wow.
That's quite a bit.
Wow.
One per year. And you know what? We probably did a few more in between, so.
We've been doing shows for like 2 years straight, though.
And we're getting ready to wrap this show up with maybe a couple other things to hit on. We can hit on some things quick. I don't know if you had anything else in the comments. I see Patrick O'Brien with a question.
Who was Patrick have?
Patrick O'Brien says, when you think about trading up when you think about trading up for, I'm not sure I'm understanding his comment
maybe
correctly.
Derwin James and with the Earl Thomas thing.
Yeah, okay, that's what it looks like. What he's
oh,
saying.
was the thing about trading up for
James?
Since
there'll be no Earl Thomas. Okay, yeah.
I personally don't have a problem. I think he's a once. I don't know if he's a once in a generation talent, but he is one of those elite freaks out there. And I like how he's played at Florida State. He's played in a good program, and it's not like he hasn't balled out at Florida State. The only thing I worry about with him is the consistency. But if you were to trade up and get a Derwin James, I feel great about that because you have a Chris Richard right there in the fold to teach him and mold him the right way. That's when I get excited about doing a trade like that.
Cowboys X Factor, or I'm sorry, Cowtown Tex on YouTube wanted to clear something up. He said he meant to say head case. Randy Gregory's not a head case like Alden Smith.
Right.
So he's not talking about talent.
Yeah, I would agree with that because something really wrong with Alden Smith. Like Randy Gregory, I think he has something bigger going on. You know, like really like deeply. Yeah. Where I think Alden Smith is just a reckless dude. You know.
Yeah. Ron Smith in Salt Lake City, Utah. He always represents from out there.
Yes, he does.
Mean, he's all the way on the West Coast. He's out there by himself in little Salt Lake City. I mean, I flew over that place. It does not look like a cool place to be. That's just my opinion.
It is. I've been there.
I haven't actually been in the city, but just seeing what I've seen,
it's a nice place.
It just feels like you're out there in the middle of nothing.
I'm telling you, go down to Utah. I've been there when I used to fly with the airlines. I've been to Utah. Number one, it's beautiful out there. The snow-capped mountains.
I've seen the mountains,
but the people. They're really nice out there. I cannot lie. They are nice.
Well, that's good. Since we're kind of talking about defense and defensive ends and linebackers, Alden Smith, Randy Gregory, let's talk about Jalen Smith a little bit. What are we expecting from him in his second year?
I'm expecting a nice leap. I don't know how huge the leap is. No, let me take that back. I think
you remember last year's expectations.
Yeah, I got expectations because remember last year we said to ourselves, no expectations for him because he's coming back from drop foot, so we don't know how the hell what's even going to happen to him. But when I see a guy come back from drop foot, play 16 games, get better as the year progresses, and it's getting to where he's moving. We showed the bowling video where he's actually wasn't able to bowl in 2 years, and now he's able to. So now, yes, I have expectations. I think he had like 70 tackles this year, and that was off the drop foot. Now I'm thinking I want the 100 range. I want the guy that we were looking for at Notre Dame. That's the guy I guess I'm kind of wanting to see in year 2, the guy we saw at Notre Dame.
That's the guy that explodes, that takes over games, dominates the game.
I think we saw a game. I think it was the last game of the year, G. He made a play in Philly. Everybody was talking about it. Remember when he saw it, he was playing the middle. He saw it and just blew right through the hole, got that guy for like a 3 or 4 yard loss and just swung him down to the swipe. That's the Jalen Smith that I want to see. That explosion, I see it, I'm coming after you, and you're going to get thumped. That's what we want to see with Jalen Smith, and that's what I look forward to see.
And that's exciting to think that you saw him at his best in the last game of the season.
Yes.
Meaning he's only going to be getting better. Now you see him with the bowling videos, so things are on the up and up and up for him and just keep getting better and better. So this will be his third year, second year on the field, but his third year in the system, so he should have all the knowledge down, and all he has to do is get that physical part, back in shape, and he should be like what you said, what we saw from him at Notre Dame.
And he has the right mentality. I think that's the one thing I love about Jalen Smith. He has the right mentality, and as long as you have that mentality, I feel like the sky's the limit. And he's always an inspiration for anybody. You know what I mean? He's an inspiration for me.
Like Shaq Griffin.
Yeah, when I see him and I look at him, I'm looking at him like, yo, I should not be lazy in my life.
Right. Like it makes you.
Yeah, it makes you look at yourself. It makes you check yourself. Yeah, it makes you check yourself and say, you know what, I'm a little bit lazy. Maybe I need to get up and work a little bit harder because you got a guy that it's amazing not to beat a dead horse, but the dude had drop foot. That has never, ever happened, and you're playing in the NFL. You had drop foot. And not only to play, you played 16 games. You played a full season. That's huge.
That's amazing. And over here on our Facebook comments, appreciate Daniel Baldonado tuning in. We certainly appreciate that. Ron, take care. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to transition now since we're still on the defense. We're going to stay on the defense, and now let's talk. And we're running out of time here, so we'll kind of make these a little quicker. We're going to talk a little bit about.
It's so hard.
So last season, Taco Charlton was taken in late first round.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't that happy about the pick. I was one of those who weren't very happy.
I think you're still not.
We had the rookie year, but I'm a little bit happier. I'll tell you why though, because he actually got in there. What do you have? 4 sacks. 3 sacks. So 3 sacks in very limited time of rotation, and he's not as big as he's going to be.
Right.
So to get 3 sacks in that rotation, I think that's not too bad. And if he gets a little bit more playing time, puts on a little bit more weight, works on that technique a little bit more, he should probably just get better. If 3 sacks is your floor and you're barely seeing the field, you got some potential.
And not just that, if people really watched him play instead of just saying,
right.
"Oh, Taco Charlton, he's a bust because he had 3 sacks," and half the people didn't even watch Taco Charlton the whole year.
He wasn't even on the field much.
But
they couldn't decide where to put him either.
Right. Well, I told you where to put him. Ron Marinelli, keep him on that left side. But the biggest thing that I was seeing from Taco Charlton was the growth was he was leaving that spin move alone. He was using his length. He was starting to walk defenders back, and he started using his hand placement better. When he was using the hand placement and using his long length, then he can control those offensive linemen and do what he wants. And then, as you says, get in that weight room. If you looked at Taco Charlton last year or his rookie year, when he didn't have his pads on, he looked like a small forward. He didn't look like he looked like a small forward. So that's a guy that might get pushed around. So when you get in that weight room and you get that NFL strength, it's a big difference. Now you see him at 6'6", 280 pounds, strong. I think a big difference right there. And you keep him on the left, rotate him with DeMarcus Lawrence. I think he's going to have, like you said, if you got 3 sacks and you barely played, I think you're going to have a higher parameter. I'm going for 8 sacks for Taco Charlton next year. I'm going out on a limb.
Ooh, I would like 8 sacks.
I'm going out on a limb. 8 sacks, damn it.
Cowtown Tex over here in the comment. We'll take one more comment and then finish up these last topics and then end the show. Cowtown says, aside from the draft board, can you give me suggested positions to draft rounds 1 through 4? And I'm just going to tell you right now, Cowtown, you're on the right page. Just go over and look at the playlist and pull up Big Game James.
Pull them up. I got them first 4.
Coach Jay's film day, and you'll see 1 through 4 right there.
That's what I want.
You can tell him again real quick if you want, but that's where he can go look at that if he wants more of a breakdown.
Yes, go to my Big Game James page. You can look at my coach.
Or just the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
he's on right
YouTube
now.
channel. Silver&Blue Nation YouTube, Big Game James, Coach J Film Day. My guys I want in the first round because I feel like we're losing Anthony Hitchens, and I don't feel like they're going to go after Vita Vea. I feel like linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, go after him. Second round, I don't know if it's going to happen because he's moved up in the draft, but Will Hernandez was a guy because I feel like he's perfect for what we're trying to do. I think we should go linebacker again because I feel like we still need quality linebackers to beef up our defense. I went with Fred Warner from BYU. He's a really good kid. I like him. Then I want to address the receiver position in the 4th round. I went with explosive receiver DJ Chark. And on the next one, on our 4th compensatory pick, I'm not going to tell you that because it's coming up. It may not be tonight, but you will see within a couple of days, Coach Jay's Film Day, and I think you're going to like this 4th round compensatory pick. Check him out.
Tavares Peel over here in the Facebook Live comments seems to be with me a little bit more on a draft strategy as far as I don't know if I want a wide receiver in the 1st round, but I want one early. But Tavares Peel has an order from 1 through 4 position-wise. Wide receiver, linebacker, safety, defensive tackle. The only thing I'm not liking about that list is I feel like the guard position is a very important one that we need to address. And aside from wide receiver and guard, defense has been, the big talk. So there's 3 other players that I wanted to address from our team before we wrap this show up real quick. Guys, there are just little notes about the Cowboys and a couple players. So
Right.
And you kind of mentioned one, Anthony Hitchens. So let's just kind of talk about both of these guys real quick. Anthony Hitchens is gone, we don't know if he's gone. And then Tapper, we don't know what's going to happen with him. I guess I'll throw a 3rd guy in there, Benson Mayoa. So
he's
those
gone.
are the 3 guys. Right. So that's just a little nugget. He was cut. So, I don't know why he was cut. Maybe you know a little bit more about the reason why he was cut. I'm not sure.
He signed a 2-year deal. What do we need him for? Let's be honest. What do we need Benson Mayoa for? He did nothing for us for real. And half the first year, he sat the bench for like four games. You signed him as a fringe player. It was a bad signing. Yeah, I guess you signed him for depth, but he really didn't make a difference. So,
I thought he made a few plays.
A few plays here and there. Benson Mayoa.
I think he was kind of a product like the other guys. I mean, he didn't get to see the field a ton.
Yeah, but he's not somebody you're going to start. You know what he remind me of when we got George Selvey? Like, he topped out the 1 year because nobody was surprised he was playing. But you saw what happened the next year, right? Fell off completely. Yeah. You saw the real George Selvey.
Hey, you know what? I'm a little bit worried about that with DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm not going to lie. But
what up, Angie?
I guess we'll have to see. That's a chance that we got to take. So what about Charles Tapper?
Charles Tapper, show and prove, baby. We saw the flash. You know, we saw the flash. We was
fourth round pick 2 years ago?
Fourth
in
round
the 16
pick.
draft.
Yes, 4th round pick, 2016 draft. Show and prove time. You got to get healthy, and you must be healthy this year because your roster spot's not guaranteed now. Your 4th round pick this year 3, his roster spot is not guaranteed. So he has to come in healthy, and he has to show something, or Charles Tapper's going to probably get cut.
Yeah, I mean, you got depth there now, too. You got guys like Randy Gregory maybe coming back into the fold, so there's going to need to be –
and even drafting or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
You're probably going to draft somebody. So the roster spot is going to be tight, and it's going to be competition, and somebody's not making the team.
Yes, that is correct.
And like you said, Tapper right now looks like the odd man out because he's the one that has been there the longest probably and has shown the least.
Exactly, and you've been hurt. And that's just like you said, G, you always stressed to me that those injuries play a big part of your contract, your value and your contract.
Yep.
And if you cannot get on the field, they're not going to keep wasting time on you.
It's part of your value
time
as a
is
player.
Money. Time is money.
That's why Sean Lee might not be considered the best linebacker in the game because
he can't stay on the field. You can't depend on
though, he probably would be. You know, him and Luke Kuechly probably be right there.
Well, they were. Remember when he first came at, those two were the neck and neck as the top linebackers. Then when Lee got hurt, nobody talks about Sean Lee anymore.
When Sean
Why?
Lee's healthy,
because he's hurt.
We know what he's capable of.
But what do we always say with Sean Lee, though?
What?
If he's healthy.
Right. That's I mean, that's always the number one thing with him, and that's why we're looking at linebackers so hard right now.
Exactly.
So that pretty much wraps it up for Cowboys news for the week, but just a couple other news and notes from around the league, and a couple of these affect our division. We had Martellus Bennett Michael Bennett get traded from the Seattle to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So
I ain't really scared about that.
That adds a piece to their defensive line, and he's way past his prime. I mean, and to me, he's a distraction in the locker room. So for us, I think that's a positive. I think, if anything,
blow up that locker room.
He's going to hurt the locker room. So that's kind of something, you know, as soon as something don't go his way, he's going to be calling out coaches, and that could be bad. So that move might actually help us. Alec Ogletree to the Giants. I like this move for them.
That was a good pick for them.
He's a good linebacker. He's always been good.
He's a good linebacker.
Underrated.
Yes.
So watch out for him to make plays, and he will. So that could be a guy that to pair up with like Landon Collins that could give us some trouble, and we know how we are when we play them Giants.
Yeah.
Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters both go to the Rams, so the NFC's beefing up. I mean, it's going to be a tough road in the playoffs.
I've looked at the negative side of that. Now, everybody's looking at, you know, on paper, it looks fabulous, right?
The Rams getting Talib and Peters.
Yes, but when you look on the outside, the off-field, you're looking at Marcus Peters. Why did they get rid of you? Head case. Why did they get rid of Talib? Head case. Now you're going to a young team, right? And what happens if you blow up on the field? Are they watching you? So, as good as it looks on paper, and I'm not saying it's wrong, it could be also a blow up because you have two volatile players that have off-field issues their whole career. And now they're on the same backfield. Could be trouble. Not in a good way.
I guess we'll see. I mean, if it is, that's good for us, and we need other teams.
What up, Andre?
We need other teams to break down, and for us to not. So, anything like that could be a distraction for other teams, I'm all for it. Angie Christopher says, "What's up to you?"
I gave the
Patrick O'Brien talking about Marquez White, kind of another forgotten man.
Practice squad. Let's get him on the field.
Florida State cornerback. I think he was a 7th-round pick last year.
Yes, sir.
Amongst a very heavy defensive draft last year. So
he said he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. I said, don't have the chip that Anthony Brown had.
Yeah, because that chip was
we
stale.
We do not want that damn chip.
That was a stale chip. Make sure that you guys join us back here next week.
Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie got cut too.
Yeah, that was something that came down probably
today.
Think somebody.
I think somebody already scooped him. If I'm not,
I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's still got a lot of value.
Yeah, he does.
Personally.
Yeah, he does.
He's a veteran and a leader, and
he's a leader.
I think that he can make a difference on the defense. We don't make moves. We know that. We don't make trades. We don't sign guys. We already know we're not going to be in those news. And I seen a funny meme the other day that said, While the Cowboys fans sitting here watching everybody else making moves, I'm just waiting for a notification to say Earl Thomas to the Cowboys. That's the only thing. Everybody's watching their phones.
Right. We don't care about it. Just get Earl Thomas. If Dallas just get Earl Thomas, all the Cowboys fans will shut the hell up. We'll shut up. We'll shut up, Jerry. We'll shut up, Steven. If you just get Earl Thomas, we will shut the hell up.
I ain't gonna lie though. Every time my phone gives me an alert and it's like an ESPN buzz,
I'm already looking.
I am like, who we getting? But you know what? My expectations have dropped. I don't even expect us to get anybody anymore, and it's been like that for the last few years. I already know we're not going to be making any splash moves, and if we do, I'll be like, okay, I'll be excited.
Right.
Like we're trying to win.
I mean, and at the end of the day, you get excited when you get somebody in free agency? Like, just like you said, you feel like, okay, all right, they really trying to make some moves. We really trying to win. But when you see your team just sitting packed, like we're okay, and you're like, we're not okay.
You took a step back.
You took a step back. We're not okay. And look at our track record in these last 20 years. We're not okay. We're not okay. So let's not sit there and say we're okay. We're good where we're at. No, we're not.
Russell Harrison in the Facebook Live says his biggest fear is the Giants getting Barkley, and I'm with you on that one.
Don't get him.
Because that'll be another situation where look at the Giants getting way better while we're not. It'll just be another situation of that. So I don't want them to get him. I don't want to see him twice a year for 10 years.
Go to the Browns. Go to the Browns. Yes. Let's build that whole AFC North like they want the Browns do. Stay the hell away from the NFC East. Barkley,
you probably will make the Browns better, I do believe.
They're going to get better anyway. They have a good management now. Dorsey is the real deal.
Any final statements or anything before we get out of here? Because we'll see you guys next week.
No, just make sure that you, if you're in the Dallas or the Plano, Texas area, come out to Mexico. Plano, Texas, March 22nd is March 23rd. So March 22nd, 23rd.
We'll have one more show here before you go.
Right. But if you're down there, go down there. Law Nation, Dallas Prospect, myself, computer from 3-6 Mafia is going down. Got to check it out.
Willie Stovall just checking in. Columbus Jones.
You so damn late, Willie.
You guys.
You so damn late, Willie.
You know what? They got in here, and we appreciate it. And I
appreciate you, Willie.
I'll tell him like I told the rest. If you just jumped in, you can always go back and rewatch it. You can go over to Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud if you want to listen.
Tell them where to go.
You can stay right here on Facebook, or you can stay right there on YouTube, and you can just rewatch it there as well. So make sure you subscribe to everything.
Yes.
Get us on all your platforms so you're just seeing us all day, every day.
All day.
And you already know we're here with you every week, and we're going to be back next week.
Yeah.
And that's Big Game James.
And that's Producer G.
And the show's over.